Houston, Texas, CBS Sports presents the National Football League. It's the New York Jets and the Houston Texans. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Fourth and 6 at the 33 of Houston. Johnson with the hit. The ball is fumbled. It's recovered. It's recovered by the Texans. Well, we called it a signature win for this Texan team, and that guy right there in his second year, Bill O'Brien, the coach. He's 46. He's from the Boston area. A disciple of Bill Belichick. Jets have won the toss. They have deferred. Texans will receive. Todd Bowles is the first-year coach of the Jets. Realistically, Rich, what are the playoff chances for these two teams?
Well, I think both have a chance, Kevin. And you look at the Jets, they're 5-4. This is an important game for them. We talked about, they've lost 3 of their last 4. On the other side of it, you've got the Texans. They're 4-5, but they play in the AFC South where I think anything can happen. But the good teams begin to start separating themselves from the rest of the field this time of the year.
Former Texan kicker Randy Bullock will send this through the end zone to Mumphrey and down to a knee. The rookie out of Michigan State will leave it right there, which takes us to the Texan offense. Quarterback T.J. Yates makes his first start in a regular season game in 4 years. They re-signed him off the street, 3 weeks ago?
Isn't it amazing how quickly things can change in this business? He told us on Friday he was sitting at home. He was kind of bummed out and was watching television, watching the NFL games. Now here less than a month later, he's starting in a critical game for the Houston Texans.
Texan offense is number 13. It's a 1st and 10. And Alfred Blue. And in the middle, bringing him down, Damon Harrison with a gain of 1 to the 21-yard line. The heavily decorated left tackle is Dwayne Brown. Against that defensive front, he'll have his hands full today. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins could go over 1,000 yards. He'll be facing a Jets secondary, as Rich just told you, that is whole now. And a lot of eyes on this newly instated tight end Ryan Griffin. He had been injured, short-term IR, came back and played last week. 2nd and 9. They go to Grimes out of the backfield with the tackle made by Demario Davis. He started every game this season. It's a gain of 5. There's Muhammad Wilkerson on the line, playing as well as anybody on the defensive line. In fact, he and Watt are the best 3-4 defensive ends as graded by Pro Football Focus. The reliable David Harris leads the Jets in tackles in the linebacking core. And the Jets get back both Antonio Cromartie and Calvin Pryor today from injury. Gilchrist and Revis. Enough said with Revis. 3rd down and 4. And they go to multiple in the secondary. Marcus Williams has come in. With the block at the right tackle. They go to Hopkins. Cromartie was there. Revis was there. Gain of 5. 1st down to the 31-yard line of Houston.
I expect a lot of quick hitting throws against this Jets defense. They don't want T.J. Yates holding the football. They've got to be able to win inside, underneath, against a lot of man-to-man coverage.
Hopkins, a good one. In fact, he caught the game-winning touchdown against Cincinnati from Yates after Hoyer had gone out.
He's going to have to really, really work hard today and have a plan against a guy like Darrelle Revis. You just don't go out there and run routes. You've got to set him up. You've got to be able to be really disciplined with your depth and making sure that you come out of breaks, because if not, Revis will sit on certain throws.
Here's a 1st and 10. Newton handles Wilkerson. They're going deep, and they got him. Hopkins. Incomplete, little overthrown, timing off. Yates can't hit. Revis with the coverage. On the defensive line today for the Jets, there is no Sheldon Richardson.
Well, you cannot miss. This is a great route by DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he goes right by Darrelle Revis. T.J. Yates has to give the receiver a chance to make a play. DeAndre Hopkins has him by 5 yards. Well, when you got him open like that, you've got to hit him.
Is Revis the Revis, Rich, after watching tape that we've seen over the last handful of years?
Ken, if he's lost a step, he certainly makes up for it with his experience, his knowledge, and his wisdom. And his anticipation still as good as there is in football.
Screen is in, 2nd and 10, and across the middle, the juggling try by Shorts. And Harris was there. He almost got it on the ricochet. Revis was covering. It's Cecil Shorts, number 18 right there. And the inactives, I mentioned Richardson, he is gone. It's the first regular season game he has missed due to injury. Of course, he was suspended the first 4 games of the season. We talked about the concussed starting quarterback Hoyer, and Kareem Jackson is out. And taking his place will be rookie Kevin Johnson, who has fared well. Handful of games now missed by Jackson, replaced by Johnson. 3rd down and 10, first series of the game. And they got time, and that's in the hands of Shorts. There's Rivas with the coverage.
Well, they drop a lot of balls.
They do, don't they?
It's amazing. You look at the numbers this year. Got to get this cleaned up. They've had way too many drops. I think they've had 24 drops so far this season, which is the most in the league. When you're starting a backup quarterback, everybody around them has to play better.
They're the only offense, Rich, which has not scored an opening game or opening possession touchdown all season long. Here's Leckler to punt. Deep back, they've got Jeremy Curley from the 20-yard line for the Jets. Wrapped up, brought down. Nice initial hit by Brian Peters. Peters, 52, played in the Canadian Football League, the Arena Football League, now in the NFL. 4-yard return, and we're gearing up for Ryan Fitzpatrick. They've got their starting quarterback today in Fitzpatrick, Rich.
Yeah, left thumb surgery last Friday, Kevin, to repair that ligament injury that he suffered against the Raiders. Didn't practice Wednesday, but was able to do everything on Thursday and Friday. He's good to go.
That's a Nunwa in motion. Back after a 4-game suspension. 1st and 10 from the 24. Ivory, a Mangold block, a winner's block. And from behind, he is brought down by Merciless. Chases him down to the 32-yard line with a catch and run of 9. He's wearing a special glove today.
Yeah, you can see this is all hand stitched in there. And really, it's a brace underneath, and that holds that thumb in place so it can't go backwards. He's got protection on top. It's open on the inside so he can still grip and put some pressure on the football with his left hand. But I think we'll see him, as I said, that under center. But I think we're going to see him out of the gun a lot more than we normally see from Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It's a 2nd down. With a gain up to the 38-yard line. And the carry by Powell, who has missed some time, and a gain of 5. Giacomini is right there. Boy, just think of the job he's got today going up against the Defensive Player of the Year in J.J. Watt. And we've seen Chris Ivory already began the season so dramatically, but Rich's numbers have gone down over time. Over the last handful of games, Mangold, of course, anchors that offensive line.
How much sleep do you think Giacomini got last night?
Maybe not much. 1st and 10. Ferguson the block. They go outside Marshall. That's the rookie out there, Kevin Johnson, who steers them out of bounds near the 46-yard line with a catch and a run of 8 with a terrific Marshall. There's Watt. He was, as I mentioned, just the Defensive Player of the Year a year ago. His numbers are even better this season. He's amazing. Linebacker Brian Cushing is playing well after a couple years of surgeries. He's back to form. We just saw the rookie cornerback Kevin Johnson starts again for the injured Kareem Jackson. And the game in Cincinnati Monday, Johnson played very well. 2nd down and 2, and Stephen Ridley. And finally brought down in the secondary by Quentin Dempsey. We've seen 3 running backs already for the Jets. That's a gain of 7, and he squirms his way to the 47 of Houston in a 1st down.
Yeah, they really got to get this running game going. When they were 4-1, they were really running it well. And I think they were dictating how they wanted to run the football. Now you look at some of the issues. I think it's critical that they run the football. They've got to protect this quarterback, Kevin. We talked about the surgery that he had. And at the end of the day, they can't leave Houston without finding out whether or not T.J. Yates, the Texans quarterback, has answers versus the pressure and blitz.
It's a 1st and 10. Big stop there. Watt led the charge. Loss of 2 on the run by Ridley back near midfield.
He's so fast across your face. I mean, this is going to be a handful for Giacomini today. He just does a great job splitting double teams, and he makes, Kev, you mentioned the numbers this year as opposed to last. I think we just take this guy for granted. I mean, he's such a great player. You fail to realize his numbers are even better than they were a season ago when he was the defensive MVP.
He's got more sacks, more tackles. James is the 5th defensive back for Houston with the 2nd and 12 here for Fitzpatrick. Ridley remains. Ridley winners with the lead block. A flag was thrown. Merciless over there with a couple others making the stop on a meager gain of 2 down to the 47-yard line. John Perry is our referee.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
That's Watt.
He's got a non-stop motor. He's going to hug as much of that football as he can so he can get the angle around the edge.
9 sacks, 28 quarterback hits. He had 20 sacks last year. So he is on that same pace. 2nd and 7 now. Drive started back at the 24. Here they come. Gets it off. Redwell, Cushing just devours Ridley. And the blitz was on from Quinton Depps from the secondary. It's a loss of 5 on the play back to the 49.
Well, the ball has to come out so quickly, and that's pressure. Not the ideal play to have dialed up. Fitz is trying to hold it, but he doesn't have the chance. And, of course, Brian Cushing, Kevin, I think he's playing as well as any inside linebacker in a 3-4 defense this year. He's healthy. He's running around sideline to sideline. He's making a lot of plays for Romeo Crennel.
Defense number 12 of the Texans. 3rd and 12. Powell is in. Here comes Watt. There goes the ball through the hands of Powell. Well, Powell's been inactive the last couple games. And here comes the punting unit now for the Jets.
Well, the pressure just gets to you. I mean, they do a couple things here. We know about Watt, but Whitney Merciless on the other side, he has done a terrific job as well. So instead of having just one really good edge rusher, they've got 2 now, and it makes it a lot more difficult for an offensive line to continue to double J.J. Watt.
Ryan Quigley with the punt. Humphrey is back and just into the end zone. 7 plays punts for the Jets. 49-yard punt. J.J. Watt. He does it all, as decorated as they've come defensively in the NFL. Timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
That bull you just saw is named JJ after J.J. Watt. This is just outside Houston. Hudgens Brahmins has almost 1,800 head of cattle and has shipped them to over 35 states and 43 countries. No, you're not one of them. But he's up there and celebrating. Watt was very, very good that last defensive series. Here's the second time the Texans have had it. It's a 1st and 10. And it's a run by Alfred Blue, taking the place of the injured Aaron Foster, who is out with a torn Achilles. It's a gain of 2 right there.
Let's look at the keys today, Kevin, for the Houston Texans. They've got to be able to run the football with power, especially considering the quarterback situation. They need to minimize the mistakes and the self-inflicted wounds. They can't turn the ball over and expect to win. And they finally, I think, defensively, they need to create some scoring opportunities and field position with their defense.
Duzable is up. Here's the Wildcat, right to Grimes, blocked by Newton. He finds a hole. Then he's eventually brought down by Harris from behind with the run of 13, a Wildcat formation. The run to the 35. They're going to get creative with this backup quarterback with very limited time lately.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you're struggling to run the football, you've got to find some creative ways to do it. And by getting the quarterback out from the box, you've got one less defender to worry about.
Now here's a quarterback hits and back to Grimes, and again looking for a block, and Brooks tried to provide it. They had Harrison over there getting him around the ankles on a gain of 3, and it's up to the 38-yard line of Houston.
I think it's really important, Kevin, for the Texans to be patient with the running game. It's not always going to look pretty, and there are going to be some negative runs, but you can't get discouraged, and you just can't abandon the running game altogether, even though the Jets are the best defense in football right now at stopping the run.
Yeah, #1 run defense, and Rich, the Texans number 28 in run offense.
Yeah, but you've got this situation with the quarterback now, a guy that just came in a couple of weeks ago, and you've got to make sure that you get him off to a good start, and I think you do that by running the football.
Blue is in. 2nd down 7, and they go underneath. And then he's met by Davis and Harris with a gain of 10, moving the chains. A 1st down to the Texan 48.
You know, T.J. Yates is a guy that Gary Kubiak really liked coming out of college. Like a lot of young quarterbacks, he's been inconsistent. Accuracy at times has been an issue, but I thought, Kevin, as I said in the open, he did a really nice job last week in relief of Hoyer on Monday Night Football in Cincinnati. I think he showed great poise. Certainly, it wasn't too big for him.
Bowen in the middle of that defensive line. Here is a 1st and 10 With all kinds of hands on Blue on a gain of 3. Duzable is in there, and also Davis at the bottom of that, right just past midfield. With NFL Mobile, watch local and primetime NFL games live on your smartphone. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. Second possession for the Texans. Jets have had it once. 7 plays punt. 2 tight ends with the empty backfield. 2nd and 7. Gilchrist is in, and here goes a pass to the side. Hopkins right in front of Revis. DeAndre Hopkins is at the 35 of the Jets. A throw of 13 for Yates and a first down.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins, if you're going to find out how good of a player you are, you go up against the best in the business. It's been Darrelle Revis over the last 6 or 7 years. This is a good throw by T.J. Yates, a back shoulder throw, one of the more difficult throws to cover if you're a corner in this business.
Hopkins, the number 3 receiver in yards and receptions. 7th play of the drive. Blue with a plush block, the fullback, brought down by Calvin Pace at about the 32-yard line of the Jets on a gain of 3.
If you're the Jets, you've got to be able to take away the Texans' top playmaker, and it's DeAndre Hopkins. If Revis needs some help, you've got to be able to give it to him. They've got to be able to limit the explosive plays, which have been an issue the last month. And I think finally, but you better get after this quarterback. You got an inexperienced quarterback, Kevin, under center. You better heat him up at some point during this game.
Extra tacklers come in. 63. Kendall Lamb will be on the left side. 2nd and 7. Wash, this is the fullback. The pile drives his way down to about the 29. Prosh has only had 4 carries all season long. That's number 5. He picks up 3. He's down to the Jet 29.
I'm old school. I love teams that still feature a fullback. You know, there's a certain comfort level as a quarterback when you have a big fullback in the game.
Well, think of all they can do. I mean, they can do a lot of things in there for you. Jack of all trades.
You love the guys that have that position versatility. A guy that can be an H-back, guy that can motion around a little bit. Another shot of Wildcat. Quarterback down here.
This is Cecil Shorts. Wide receiver, formerly at Jacksonville. 3rd down and 4. He'll take it himself. Nice run. First down. He got through the grip of Gilchrist. He knocked it just enough off his horse. It's a gain of 12. He's down to the 17 of the Jets. And that is another first down.
And if you're Todd Bowles, this is probably something you haven't seen on film and prepared for. They've 2 shots now already of Wildcat. We saw it earlier with Jonathan Grimes, and now we're going to see it with the receiver Cecil Shorts, the 3rd.
You watched it in practice on Friday, didn't you?
Yeah, they really mixed it in a little bit, so it's something that the Jets now have to adjust to.
1st and 10. Nice catch. Grimes. The coverage by Davis, who struggles in coverage as a linebacker for the Jets. It is a gain of 4, and he's down to the 13 of New York.
What a difference a week makes for the T.J. Yates. He just looks a lot more comfortable, Kevin. The ball's coming out on time. You see the communication now. We talked to offensive coordinator George Godsey. He said, I'm going to stay in his ear up until that 15-second clock cuts off the communication. I want to make sure he knows everything. We'll talk to him about formations. We'll talk to him about the mic calls. We'll talk to him about the reads. We're going to really walk him through every play we call.
5-minute drive. Screen was in the secondary. Handoff to Blue. And they've got Duzable around his waist with a gain of 3 down near the 10. So they've got a scheme, protections. They're building in a few more things this week than they would normally have for a veteran quarterback.
Well, I think you're going to see a little less volume with the game plan, a condensed game plan, just to make sure that you get this quarterback comfortable. They get the plays in quickly to give him more time in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. And as George Godsey said, constant communication until that play clock shuts off that system.
12th play of the drive. 3rd and 3. Yates. Tackled by Harris. It's a gain of 4. It goes down to Nate Washington. He's down to the 6. They get the first down, and the Texans on their 2nd possession have it 1st and goal to go deep in Jet territory.
And Kevin, if I'm a quarterback playing against this Jets defense, I know the strength of their secondary, the 2 corners. You've got, Hall of Famer and Darrelle Revis, Antonio Cromartie. I want to work inside. I want to be able to use my slot receiver, my tight ends, and my backs. I want the matchups against the Jets linebackers and safeties today.
Running into the nickel, this is Blue. Harrison may have gotten him around the ankles with a gain of 4 down near the 2. Alfred Blue, we mentioned before, replacing Arian Foster, who is a signature player on this offense, but he's now gone for the year.
We got J.J. Watt in the game now, Kevin.
Yep, this is a lot of fun. He had 5 touchdowns last year. Think of that.
And this is a guy that he can catch the ball, but I think it's his explosiveness out of his stance. I mean, I think it surprises a lot of defenders.
And the extra lineman is in 2. Kendall Lamb, the rookie. Second goal at the 2. Watt in motion. To Watt. Oh! Pryor does a nice job. That is not easy. Taller, bigger, stronger. And the incomplete to Watt. That closes the first quarter. They go to the Defensive Player of the Year, who has touchdowns on his resume. Look at the time of possession, Rich, for the Texans in that first quarter.
They've been very efficient. 3 of 4 on third down conversions. The quarterback's gotten off to a good start, Kevin. And they've done a nice job mixing things up with their running game. We saw the Wildcat a couple times. Really have the Jets on their heels right now defensively.
To start the second quarter, the Texans have brought in a couple of tight ends. That then dictated the moves by the Jets on their defense. They had one personnel grouping out there and quickly took them off. Jets have had it once. 7 plays punt. This is the second possession for the Texans today with a 3rd and goal at the 2. The backup quarterback T.J. Yates taking the place of the concussed Brian Hoyer. Yates, they're coming at him strong. He throws it away. It's incomplete. And the good-looking rookie, Leonard Williams, was all over the quarterback. The rookie out of USC has been one of the best defensive rookies in the NFL this season.
That's a really nice job by the secondary. Go ahead and roll it. You're going to see what they're trying to do is they're trying to catch Cromartie. But they do a really nice job on the right side of your screen. Pryor is going to jump in front of this flat route. So the quarterback has nowhere to throw it. Good communication on the back end by that Jets defense.
Nick Novak will try a 20-yard field goal, so a win for the Jets defense. Holding him out of the end zone. They had it. 1st and goal at the Jets 6. 3-0 with this 20-yarder right here by Nick Novak, signed in late September.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Available now. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Sunny day, windy and chilly here for Houston standards with aerial coverage of today's game provided by DirecTV. Rich, the number 2 red zone in the NFL defensively, the Jets.
Yeah, big stop down there, Kevin, as you mentioned. 1st and goal at the 6. Their red zone defense has been terrific. They've held opponents to field goals the majority of the time down in that part of the field, 62% of the time.
After the 20-yard field goal, the kickoff by the Houston Texans. And Cromartie, who is back, and then belted on the play by Max Boa, among others. It's a 21-yard return. Cromartie coming back after the injury. 14:46 in the first half. Another possession for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick out there with the second possession. And Ivory is back out there too. Didn't play a whole lot that first 7 series they had to begin it. Had the one play, and then Powell and Ridley had more time. 1st and 10. Fitzpatrick going deep. He's looking for Marshall, who's covered by all kinds of blue jerseys. Incomplete. Look at all the blue back there, including the rookie Johnson and Jonathan Joseph. They're going to Brandon. Incomplete. You
got to make this catch. This is a really good throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Well, Demps does a nice job grabbing the right wrist of Brandon Marshall. He can't get that second hand on the ball, but nonetheless a very good throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He's their leading receiver at 57 catches so far. Best they've had in a while, certainly, for the Jets. 2nd down and 10. Nickel secondary. Ivory. And from behind, Watt brings him down. Gain of 2 to the 25. The Falcons, the Colts. Let's go to JB in New York.
Falcons trying to get their mojo back.
Yes, they are right here, and this is the way to do it, going against this Indianapolis defense. That's what you call wide open. Patrick DeMarco scores the 15-yard touchdown. Atlanta takes the lead 7-0.
Fullback won a little action himself. Back to Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
That's one of those fullbacks you're talking about. DeMarco for the Falcons.
I love fullbacks.
3rd and 8. Devin Smith, one of 5 receivers for Fitzpatrick, who goes to the side. He's looking for Powell. With the coverage by linebacker Brian Cushing. That's 3 and gone. Here comes the punting unit for the New York Jets. 2 possessions and 2 punts.
You know, they had a sloppy start last week, Kevin, on that Thursday night against Buffalo. 4 turnovers last week, 2 failed 4th down tries. They gave up 4 sacks. They just weren't very sharp.
Boy, against Buffalo, Quigley had a great night. Averaged 51 yards a punt, 49 net. He was terrific. Boy, gets off a rocket right here to Mumphrey. Finds a little bit of a seam, and then Kellen Davis will usher him out of bounds with a flag thrown. 51-yard punt right there with a 12-yard return by Mumphrey. By the way, 5 different members of today's crew have officiated at least 1 Super Bowl. Graded every day is John Perry. Houston Texans come in 4-5, tied for first. We just saw that Colts highlight. They are tied in the South in first. They've won 2 straight.
Formation kicking team. 5-yard penalty has been elected at the end of the run. 1st and 10.
On the Jets, 13-14 to go in the first half. T.J. Yates. He's the only North Carolina Tar Heel quarterback that has ever taken a snap in the NFL. So the Jet defense was on for 8 minutes. Their offense was on for a little over a minute. Now the defense of the Jets back out there, Rich.
They're getting wore out.
1st and 10. Brown the block at the left tackle. Yates goes underneath. That's the tight end out of UConn, Ryan Griffin, 3rd year. Picks up 7 on the play. Gets it out to the 47-yard line. Tomorrow on The Late Show is Stephen Colbert. Catch Sylvester Stallone, and later this week, Justin Bieber, plus Stephen's Thanksgiving celebration. Only CBS. Now, you can talk about Ronald Curry. You can talk about Ethan Horton.
It's an amazing stat you just threw out there about North. No wonder, Kevin, they haven't been that great in football. They're a basketball school. They can't find a quarterback.
They're good now. They just got their 10th win yesterday over Frank Beamer and Virginia Tech. 2nd down and 3. Blue into a pile, and Harris kind of finishing him off after a gain of 1. He's up to the 48-yard line. So Yates comes in. Rich, how hard is that to be on your couch off the street, called into service, and bang, you're right in the fray? It's
really tough. Now, the good thing is he did have pretty good recall of what the Texans taught him in the spring of 2014. So he was with Bill O'Brien for a handful of months, so he did have some recalls. We see him line up out wide again. Kevin, we've seen a lot of this Wildcat early for the Houston Texans.
Lamb is on the line. Shorts in the Wildcat. 3rd down and 2. Pryor can't get him. Harris does. He gets the 1st down. There's Lamb, who was that extra offensive lineman put in. They pick up 7. Creative offense by the Texans. They're back in Jets territory at the 45 of the 1st.
This is why Bill O'Brien is a good football coach. You've got to figure out some creative ways to move the football when you're struggling a little bit at the quarterback position. Last year, they had to play with 4 different quarterbacks. This year, it's already been 3. Hard to win when you do that. They're finding some creative ways to manage with T.J. Yates.
Couple tight ends, Blue, and then brought down in the middle. Demario Davis was there, Harrison there. It is a gain of a yard down to the 44. Another thing that has helped Houston's offense, they've had 3rd and short, not 3rd and long, 3rd and short most of the day so far.
Yeah, 5 3rd down situations, 4 of which have been 3rd and 4 or less. That's, you get in 3rd long situations against this defense, and you're in trouble. You'll see a lot of we call blitz 0, all-out pressure. Don't want to be in those 3rd and longs.
Extra lineman, 2nd and 9. Blue with the block by Suafilo. No gain on the play. Down he goes at the 44-yard line. Davis right there to New York and James.
Washington has some life in Carolina.
Yeah, they do, JB. Right here, after a Cam Newton 3-yard touchdown pass to Mike Tolbert on the ensuing kickoff, Andre Roberts takes it 99 yards to the house, ties the score up 14-14 in the second quarter.
Boy, in the second half football, loving it. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Well, unbeaten.
That's how you beat them.
Yeah,
Score
that's right.
in the
Special
kicking
teams,
game.
Yeah, do it a lot of different ways. 3rd and 9 here. Yates into the nickel. Gutto, they come from the side. He is hit by Williams, a former Texan, and the ball jarred free, and it was recovered by the Jets. And who jarred him with the missile off the side? Marcus Williams. Maldon came in and got him, but Williams from the secondary was blitzing in. Loss of 8. Jets have it.
We're back here in Houston. I said earlier, you got to find out about this quarterback and whether he has answers versus the blitz. Marcus Williams, he's actually covering the tight end Fedorowicz. When he sees the tight end block, he comes screaming at the quarterback.
Near center right now. Wesley Johnson is in for Mangold. Hand injury, questionable return after the fumble. Great beginning field position from the 47-yard line. Nice catch by Anunwa. Just off a suspension. Ushered out of bounds by Hal. 15-yard pickup. Put him at the 31-yard line.
And they really like Quincy Anunwa. He's a bigger body. He's got some speed to him. And he's a willing blocker. And in talking to Chan Gale, the offensive coordinator last night, he said there's a direct correlation from the time that we lost him until the time that we struggled a little bit with the running game.
Violated the league's personal conduct policy. Just saw Johnson. Here's Powell. And this is Powell on 1st down and 10. And Bernardrick McKinney, a rookie out of Mississippi State, brings him down. It is a gain of 9, and he slices his way for close to a 1st down at the 22, 21-yard line.
Kevin, I just talked about Anunwa being a willing blocker. Watch this cut block of Clowney. Wow. That's good to see. That's why he's in there.
Their run game suffered when he was gone. You're right. 2nd down and 1. Ivory in the block and a good throw, but incomplete. He was going for Decker, who looked to have a stride on A.J. Boyer, who was there and was covering well. Incomplete. 3rd and 1 for the Jets. We're on the edge of the playoff race at 5-4 after losing 3 of their last 4. Fitzpatrick is back there 9 days after surgery, playing his former team. Texans come in, having won 2 straight. They've won 3 of 4, and they're back in business, tied for 1st. 3rd and 1. Ivory tried to shift gears. He got the block from Bohannon, but Cushing and company bring him down. No gain on the play. They stay at the Houston 22. And they may not, well, they're going to go for 3 now.
It's J.J. Watt. Kevin, look at the penetration. He splits the double team and forces Ivory to have to bounce that run to his right.
I mean, you just have to account for him on every play. And they move him around. You talked about this early. They move Watt all over that line.
They really do. And he'll play all over the center. He'll play the 3 technique. At defensive end, he'll stand him up at the linebacker position. He's never quite sure of where he's going to be.
Randy Bullock, who's a Texas kid, who was cut from this team. 40-yard field goal to tie, and right down the middle. Tied at 3. Bullock from 40. He was let go after a couple games here. He was drafted by this team. Now he's a Jet, and he just tied it for Coach Todd Bowles.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. State Farm. Find your agent at statefarm.com. And by National Mortgage Lender Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power.
Pinto Ranch, if you want a pair of boots down here in Houston, that's where you go. Over 4,000 pairs in stock.
It was good to see you walk around the lobby last night with your
you.
ropers and
Thank
your
you.
10-gallon hat on.
Yep.
You ain't from around here, are you, boy?
Look who's talking. Well, Bullock just nailed a 40-yard field goal to tie things up. Jets and Texans, 2 teams on the edge of the playoffs. The ensuing kickoff and left in the end zone by Mumphrey and out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10.
Look at this matchup we've been watching. Really a marquee matchup. The top receiver against one of the game's greats in Darrelle Revis. They went after him early. Really nice back shoulder throw and catch here. And now you're going to see Hopkins. He's not going to back down. He's going to go after the old man. Easy there, young pup. This is going to be a fun one to watch all day today, Kevin. And Hopkins didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Bill O'Brien said he's a little bit concerned about this matchup.
Yep, he missed a couple days. Knee issues. Revis on him again, 1st and 10. Here is Akeem Hunt. He was just signed this week, called off the practice squad. He's a rookie out of Purdue. He picks up 2 as we take you to our CBS studios in James Brown.
A Dallas score against the Dolphins.
Yes, they do. Right here, getting it done on the defensive side of the ball. Rolando McClain reads this pass perfect by Tannehill. Takes it 12 yards for the interception return. 7-0, second quarter, Cowboys.
Offense will smile at that. Back to Kevin and Rich.
And Miami had that nice win in Philly last week.
Yeah, how excited are the Cowboys to get Romo back? Losers of 7 in a row in the NFC East.
It's 2nd down and 8. They go outside incomplete, looking for Strong. Coverage by Cromartie. Making it now 3rd down and 8. A lot of quarterbacks, Rich, and you talked about this earlier. A lot of quarterbacks have come through this place. 5 different starters, 6 overall for Coach Bill O'Brien and his offense here in Houston.
Yeah, they've got to figure out this quarterback position long term. It's so hard to win when you have to play with multiple quarterbacks. We said it earlier, Kevin, last year they won 9 games playing with 4 different quarterbacks. This year it's already been 3. And you find a guy off the street. I mean, it's it's not like TJ Yates has been in your program since September.
6 defensive backs, 3rd down and 8. Here comes the blitz again. Outside they go. It's Griffin. Got by Williams, and he's doused on the play. Tackled by Calvin Pryor, the strong safety, loss of a yard. There goes Jonathan Joseph. That is not good. He is their shutdown corner. They're looking at his knee. Into the locker room he goes.
And remember, to make matters worse, they're already without Kareem Jackson, their other starting corner.
That time of year, Rich,
if you're Chan Gailey and you're Ryan Fitzpatrick, you're paying attention to who's out there on the edges.
How about Raheem Moore, too? He's been out for a while. Leckler to punt. Heavy pressure. The back is Curley. And Jeremy runs out of bounds. Shane Leckler with the punt. A 54-yarder, timeout in Houston. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $1,000 to its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, the USO, the Wounded Warrior Projects. Who join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. Wesley Johnson is still in at center. Mangold is injured with the hand. Fitzpatrick 1st and 10 with the band hand himself, and Ivory tries to pile drive his way, finds 2. Watt at the bottom of the pile to the 40-yard line.
Well, as I said earlier, Kevin, with 2 starting corners out, Kareem Jackson and now Jonathan Joseph questionable with a knee. I've got to go after these corners and find out if they can hold up against Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker.
There's Morris, who's out of Texas State, waived by San Francisco. 2nd down and 8. Powell is in. He gets away from Watt. He breaks a tackle of Hal, and he's on the run. Cushing knocked it away. The ball is free. The Texans think they've got it, but let's see. With a flag thrown, Cushing is the one who came in with a right cross from behind and knocked it away. He's, as Rich said this, he's playing great football this year.
This guy has to learn how to slide, Kevin. Ryan
His quarterback,
Fitzpatrick.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is he down again? No, he's not. He's up. But Boye is down. Yep, Boye is down. They've lost Joseph. He's in the locker room. Boye is down. Fitzpatrick was wobbly getting up.
The field is down by contact. No fumble. Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
It's on Giacomini, right tackle.
Well, you love his instinctiveness, but this is a bad decision. He's got to have to learn how to slide. This is how you get hurt. He never feels Cushing coming. He's got a surgery in the left thumb. He can't really protect the football and carry the football with that hand. And this is how he got hurt last year, Ken. He broke his leg because he didn't slide. He hurt the left thumb because he didn't slide against the Oakland Raiders and Charles Woodson.
So
if I'm coaching this guy, we're going to work on sliding during practice. Because your best ability is your availability.
Well, watch this here. They got a little tape on his issues, and this is when he was quarterbacking and starting last year in Houston.
We were there. He broke his tibia.
Broke his leg in December.
Yep. And then here, about a month ago, or 3 weeks ago, he goes down, and he's not able to play the rest of that day.
We were there for that one too. So it's pain tolerance.
So we're
today.
like bad luck. We should stop telling him we should stop doing his game.
So Boyer is out, and they're walking into the locker room. He's the second Texans defensive back to leave. A.J. Boyer from Central Florida.
Kevin, now they're down to their third and fourth corners.
It's getting dicey.
You better go after these guys.
Eddie Pleasant is coming, second and 18. They need the 48. Fitzpatrick, Powell, chased and taken down by John Simon. He's been starting for Clowney, who's been injured. He has a gain of 11 on the play, so they eat up some time there with a gain to the 48. Fitzpatrick, having played with this team just last year, he must have a very good knowledge of this defense and what these guys can and cannot do.
There's no question about that. I think clearly he's got some intimate knowledge of the personnel, and especially when it comes to matchups, as he told us last night.
3rd and 7. Powell was in, offers the block, low and uncatchable for Decker. The coverage by Daryl Morris. It's incomplete. Here goes the punt unit once again for the New York Jets.
That's one that he'd like to have back. He got to be able to make that throw. Decker was open on that in route for the first down.
Coverage units for the Jets, not very good. A combined 27th in the NFL. They're bad in returns. They're bad in coverage. Try to rectify that. And Humphrey will, with the ball, go out of bounds about the 15 on a 44-yard punt. 5:02 in the second quarter. Field goals each way in Houston on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fruit of the Loom. They test their products so you know they work. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
You put a little cameraman on top of the Eagle there. No, there's a GoPro on there with that great shot. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, JB and Company, scores, news, highlights, and analysis of the first half. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York. Backup quarterback T.J. Yates off the street 3 weeks ago, starting in the NFL, and a big hit right there, right off the bat. Calvin Pace comes through. Wilkerson also penetrates. Loss of 2, back to the 13.
Kevin, you mentioned T.J. Yates, off the street a couple of weeks ago. He said it was difficult finding people to throw to. He had brothers and friends and high school kids he'd try and round up just to try and find something. And the other thing he said I thought was interesting, he was sitting at home, he was watching the Cleveland Browns play, and he saw a timeline of Browns quarterback Josh McCown, 9 teams in 13 years. He said, you know what? There's still an opportunity. There's still a chance for me somewhere.
Here he is. Into the nickel on 2nd down and 12. Yates. And what a catch. Right in front of Revis. Hopkins. He had a one-handed touchdown catch, which was a game winner in Cincinnati on Monday. Pulls that in. 18-yard pickup. First down to the 31.
This is a gutsy throw by T.J. Yates. Look at this. Revis is right there. He just doesn't find the ball. And that's a terrific catch and great concentration on the boundary by DeAndre Hopkins.
Tell you what, Odell Beckham Jr. has inspired a whole new way to catch the ball, hasn't he? Huh? My goodness.
And you just get the sense that T.J. Yates doesn't know any better. He's going to go after Revis because he likes the matchup with Hopkins.
Blue on 1st and 10. Blocked by Brooks with a tackle made by Marcus Gilchrist in the secondary. Wheeling his way to the 38. Alfred Blue out of LSU for 7.
And Alfred Blue has been told this week that he needs to be more decisive. He needs to slam it up in there to eliminate some of the dancing behind the line of scrimmage. They're really encouraging him to get going, make a decision, a one cut, and get downhill, especially against the best run defense in football.
Texans tied for the lead in their division with the Colts after an 0-2 start, coming off a big win, a signature win, best for Bill O'Brien in his less than 2 years here in Cincinnati against previously unbeaten Cincinnati Monday. 2nd down, short 3, going deep. Oh, he's got Hopkins, who has burned Revis. Touchdown. 61 yards. Mom and Dad loving it.
Well, first of all, the middle of the field's wide open, and they're going to get the crosser, and they get the matchup they want right down the middle off of play action. But no one's in the middle of the field. Revis has no help, and he just can't keep up with the speedy DeAndre Hopkins. Good job by T.J. Yates using all the field to let Hopkins run out in front of it.
Hopkins' 8th touchdown reception. He's over 1,000 yards for the year. The extra point makes it 10-3, 3:04 in the second quarter. An emerging star in Hopkins, an aging star in Revis. Mom and Dad have come to watch in Houston. An early Thanksgiving treat.
Look at the hold you get from the play action. It gives the quarterback plenty of time. You get the freeze on the linebackers, the safety. And he knows pre-snap that the middle of the field is wide open. And he's able just to air this thing out and let Hopkins run out in front of it. Kevin, we watched that during the break. Revis actually was gaining some ground, but he eased up just a little bit as he looked back for the football.
Texans' longest play from scrimmage this season. Yates has thrown 2 touchdown passes, both to Hopkins. One was a game winner. That one puts him out in front. Antonio Cromartie with Davis leading the way. Or Bohannon leading the way, excuse me. And he's run out of bounds. Hit by Morris in the secondary. 40-yard return for Cromartie. Thursday, December 3rd. Your weekend starts here. It's an NFC North matchup as the Green Bay Packers take on the Lions. Thursday Night Football only on CBS and NFL Network.
How about the start for T.J. Yates today, Kevin? 10 of 16, 127 yards, touchdown. And the great thing is he's not had the big mistake against this Jets defense.
Ridley, the running back. Brandon Marshall. Joseph back in the game. He just came out of the tunnel, put on his helmet, ran back out there. Good news there. Had the knee injury early. Gain of 8 to the 47.
Yeah, but look how soft he's playing. He's giving Brandon Marshall a lot of space at the line of scrimmage. And you got to find out about him, Kevin. How healthy is he?
He had a pick in that Cincinnati game on Monday. 2nd and 2. Nickel secondary. What? Got Ridley. He is so fast. A loss of 4. His 17th tackle for a loss of the season. One of the best numbers in the NFL.
He's just so quick off the line of scrimmage. The right tackle's got no chance. He just gets beat right across his face.
We're looking at defensive back A.J. Boyer for a possible concussion. Just saw a touchdown pass by the Texans to go up on the Jets. 2-minute warning. Coming up, Verizon halftime reporting from JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowell. News, scores, highlights, analysis of the first half all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Jets 0-4 on 3rd and 6. Down by 7. 2-minute warning. 3 timeouts. What? Sack number 10. Jets have got a punt.
Well, Giacomini's going to have a hard time, Kevin. We talked about that early in this game. I mean, he's just too much to handle. He just gets beat around the edge with power and strength. And Fitzpatrick's got to have a time clock in his head. If you take a second hitch against J.J. Watt, you're in trouble.
He's in his 2nd year with the New York Jets.
They're going to have to help him out.
They're going to have to.
They're going to have to get a tight end over there. They're going to start opening up that line. Chip with the back. You can't allow J.J. Watt to take over a game.
Rich, on the other side, Muhammad Wilkerson is causing the offensive line of the Texans to put in extra personnel to protect Yates.
Absolutely. The passing game, Kevin, always starts with protection.
Second straight 3 and out. Wrigley the punt. Humphrey from the 16-yard line. Nice tackle made right there. Buster Screen, Cleveland free agent. 2-yard return, 49-yard punt. Week 11 continues later today on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood One Radio. Boomer Esiason and I will be in Foxborough tomorrow night. Bills, Patriots, big one. And 10 sacks for Watt.
He's just so hard to block one-on-one. I mean, he's a non-stop motor, and this game's so important to him. He just never takes plays off.
61-yard touchdown pass back out there. Yates to Hopkins. Here they go. With 2 timeouts. They took one moments ago. 1st and 10. Yates looking for Washington. Cromartie was covering. 2nd and 10.
You just get the sense that George Godsey, the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, is getting more and more comfortable with T.J. Yates based on how he has started this game. So I'm not surprised to see them in this situation, a minute 40 with a couple timeouts. Give this guy a chance to move the ball down the field and try and get some points before the half.
Yates was signed October 28th after they released Ryan Mallett. 2nd and 10. Now Mallett's on the couch watching. Grimes, Harrison gobbles him up. And a gain of about 6 on the play. Up to the 23-yard line.
Timeout Jets.
With a look at Grimes, and the Jets will use their first timeout. The Jets haven't played, Rich, since November 12th. And the Texans playing on a short week. Played Monday on the road and beat previously unbeaten Cincinnati. So we know that these two teams are on the edge of the playoff race. Wild card race in the AFC. Jets, after the 4-1 start, now 5-4. And they're coming off their most damaging loss of the season, 10 days ago to Buffalo. And Houston is coming off that terrific win like we just talked about on the road in Cincinnati on Monday.
And well, obviously the Jets, Kevin, this is a critical game really for both teams, but I mean the Jets, they've lost 3 of their last 4 to erase much of what they gained during that 4-1 start.
2 timeouts apiece, 3rd down and 4. And 3rd and short again. Yates hesitated just a second. Cromartie was lead back. There go the flags. They were going for wide receiver Nate Washington. Flags, 2 of them thrown. So hold is on the Jets.
You get Cromartie for a grab.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 31, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He was inactive last week. He had been a starter all season, so he hasn't missed many games. We had a bruised quad, and I'm sure it's still tender. But he's in starting today.
You see right in the top of your screen there, he's just going to grab Washington as he comes out of his break with that right hand. Well, you don't practice, Kevin, you don't play well.
Right.
You know, that position, you got to be out there. You need those reps on Wednesday and Thursday. And both these teams have had some veteran guys that missed practice time.
Blitz is on. Grimes with the block. And they go deep, and it's incomplete. You saw the diving Gilchrist right there trying to snare it. Playing that free safety position. 2nd down and 10. Well, in the second quarter this season, the Jets have just really staggered. They've been outscored, Rich, in second quarter games throughout the year, 94-50, and have been outscored 7-3 in this particular second quarter.
Well, slow starts on the road have been a problem for the Jets.
Grimes on 2nd down and 10. Tough time bringing him down. Finally, Duzable has to jump on him and get him. 6-yard gain on the play for Grimes out of William and Mary. Grimes played for the Jets, of course. You may recall if you follow the Jets back in 2012. He's out to the 35.
Not a lot of explosive runs when you really study the tape of the Houston Texans. And I'm not surprised without Arian Foster, but they have only 2 runs of 20 yards or more, which is tied for the fewest in the league so far this season.
3rd and 4. Got him jumping. Free down. Flag. Reeled in by Washington. Cromartie was in the vicinity. Flag. 9-yard gain as it stands now out to the 44 and enough for a first down.
Offside. Defense number 92. Penalties declined. Result of the play, first down.
Washington has caught a couple passes, both on third down, both converting to first.
He gets the whole left side of, or the right side of that Jets offensive line. Nice job with the cadence.
Timeout.
Got to keep mixing up the cadence against a team that can rush the passer.
Realistically, where is he right now, Rich? They signed him 3 weeks ago. He's got 33 seconds with which to work. They've got 2 timeouts. They're almost at midfield. Obviously looking for some momentum going to the halftime.
I think if you're George Godsey and Bill O'Brien, Kevin, every time you call a play, you get your fingers crossed. You don't know how he's going to react, right? You don't have any history with him. And look, you know the timing with the receivers and the tight ends in the passing game is still a work in progress. And you don't know what he's going to do in certain situations. And you just hope that he understands the game plan. And the game plan has to be, our defense is playing as well as any defense in football. They've gone almost 12 quarters without giving up a touchdown. We're going to mix it up for you, but just don't make the critical mistake. Throwing the ball away and letting Shane Leckler punt the football is not a bad thing.
With the 1st and 10 over the head of Hopkins with the coverage by Revis.
Well, he got off to a really good start, TJ Yates. And he just looked comfortable throwing the football. He's not backed away from Darrelle Revis. Didn't see the pressure coming off the edge from Marcus Williams. That was a problem, but he came right back. This is what you want to see, a quarterback that's resilient, able to handle a little bit of adversity, and they are going right after Darrelle Revis with DeAndre Hopkins. Been a pretty good start for the young quarterback.
They need here about 20 yards for a field goal attempt from Nick Novak. 2nd down and 10. 2 timeouts. Tight end Griffin with the block. Yates, slippery. One-handed catch by Hopkins, but on the chalk, incomplete. They had Gilchrist following him. Here's Hopkins.
He's just such a natural catcher of the football. I mean, it looks so easy, right? Just, whoa. And you're right, Kevin. All these guys are practicing this now. You go out to practice on Friday. I'm sitting there and saying, well, these guys don't use 2 hands anymore.
He's from Clemson. Sammy Watkins is from Clemson. The Buffalo receiver had a pretty good day against a good night against the Jets.
He's got big hands, big soft hands. It can make the difficult catch look easy.
Yeah, Bo Sweeney recruiting some good ones down there. 3rd down and 10. Here they come with Davis looking for Hopkins. Coverage by Gilchrist. Well, he took a hit. The face expressing the pain. Davis was the one coming through, Demario Davis, from the inside.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Jets bring some pressure. Demario Davis right in the middle there. He's going to get his helmet right in the sternum of TJ Yates.
And Wilkerson, too, leading the charge. Leckler had a couple of punts last week inside the 10. His next punt inside the 20. He'll be 3rd all-time in that category, tying Craig Hendrick. And this, as the English, was right on the chalk. Right on the goal. You're right. Right on the goal line. 56-yarder. And there's a guy who was an all-state quarterback here in the Houston area in high school and went to Texas A&M. He was a gifted athlete. But he's the 3rd quarterback today in case Brandon Whedon, who was signed
he doesn't want to play.
He was released by Dallas. He's now the backup. And TJ Yates is the starter.
I was kidding with him at practice on Friday. And, Leckler, he's posted some of the best career and single-season numbers in NFL history. But you got Brandon Whedon, and they've got just a handful of plays for him. If he has to go in, that would be a bad situation as well.
They're going to sit on it right here. The Texan defense has now gone 12 quarters without allowing a touchdown. Yates has thrown a 61-yard touchdown pass. Bill O'Brien still trying to connect the dots with a lot of quarterback issues. His team very much alive. In fact, they're tied for first place in the AFC South with the Indianapolis Colts at 4-5. And coming off that big win in Cincinnati, the Jets have lost 3 of 4. and they are trying to regain their footing. Yet they're very alive, over 500 coming into today. Halftime in Houston with the Texans by 7 on CBS.
That's right, you're not the Texas. That's right, you're not the Texas. Texas wants you anyway. That's right, you're not the Texas. That's right, you're not the Texas. That's right, you're not the Texas. Texas.
Oh, he shot Hopkins, who has burned Revis. Houston is the 4th largest city in the country. There's the Astrodome there at the bottom of the screen, built and opened in 1965. That's our score. Who You Lovin', presented by McDonald's. Game time gold. Yates. Hopkins for 6. Hopkins has been terrific. And he's almost at 100 yards today in the first half. And there he is, the young Clemson wide receiver Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon. The defense of the Texans, terrific.
I don't know about loving Hopkins and Yates. I'm loving this defense right now. If you love great defense, this is what the Houston Texans are all about, Kevin. They're playing terrific. And, of course, big reason why they've won 3 of their last 4 games. They have been dominant, and no one seems to have an answer for J.J. Watt.
All right, now second half adjustments.
Well, I think offensively, the Jets, it's pretty simple. You got to convert a 3rd down. They're 0 for 5. They've only had 11 minutes of possession. I think defensively, you got to find a way to slow down DeAndre Hopkins. He already has 98 yards receiving for the Houston offense. I think keep mixing it up. Good mix of running pass, 19 runs, 23 passes. And finally, as we talked about this defense, Kevin, you can't lose if you don't let them score. And they have been so good. The Jets have to make some adjustments with their plan offensively. I think first and foremost, you better figure out a way to slow down J.J. Watt. I think that your right tackle, he's going to need some help, Giacomini. I also think that they've got to be able to go after this secondary a little bit of the Houston Texans, which is banged up.
Jets are tied with Buffalo behind New England in the AFC East at 5-4. Texans in first place, a tie atop the South with Indianapolis. And here comes Cromartie as we start our second half, and he is tackled by Brian Peters after a 21-yard return to the 18. Here's some of those defensive notes.
How about this? This is amazing, right? Look at that dominance right there. Not a lot of touchdown in basically 3 games. 13 sacks, 6 takeaways. They haven't given up a touchdown since the second quarter of the Miami game, Kevin, on October 25th.
That's 37 possessions. Romeo Crennel, second year as the defensive signal caller. Mangold is still out. Wesley Johnson still in at the center. A hand injury for Mangold. 1st and 10. Nice knock away. Joseph on a pass intended for Decker. 2nd down and 10. In the first half, this was the look at the Jets.
Well, slow start's a problem. 3 and outs are demoralizing to an offense. And again, the issues on 3rd down. This is the best 3rd down defense in football. And this secondary, Kevin, they know that they don't have to cover for a long time, so they sit and jump certain routes.
Into the nickel, 2nd down and 10. Ivory in.
Rex! Go!
The double team Watt, 2nd and 10. Wobbly throw, incomplete, almost in center field, a catch by Hal. Andre Hal out of Vanderbilt, free safety. He is starting the last couple games for the injured Raheem Moore.
We talked about making the adjustment at halftime. You just look at the double team that they have on J.J. Watt. You got the right tackle, Giacomini. Winters, the right guard, is taking the place of Willie Colon. They're both working in unison to try and take the edge off of J.J. Watt.
And he still got through.
He's the best at splitting double teams. He has the ability to kind of manipulate his body and his shoulders sideways and split the seam.
6 defensive backs. Fitzpatrick on 3rd and 10, looking for Smith, and he can't hold on. Hal was there. Devin Smith could not snare the pass. It looked catchable. We'd have to see it again. Punting it comes out for the Jets to begin the second half.
Well, they've been so good at getting off the field on 3rd down. This Houston defense, the best in football.
Oh, that's catchable.
Yeah, but then he knows he's going to get hit. Demps takes a nice angle as he's trying to bring it in. He's got to catch it first. It doesn't hurt as much if you catch it.
Jets have allowed 3 special team touchdowns in 9 games. Mumphrey. and brought down by Rontez Miles. 9-yard return, 44-yard Ryan Quigley punt. The South looks this way. Out for a while, Andrew Luck with the lacerated kidney.
I don't know if anyone wants to win this division, although the Houston Texans, Kevin, I think they've winning 3 of their last 4, they've put themselves back in the mix. Look at Jacksonville. Blake Bortles, Hearns, Robinson. You look at Mike Mularkey. He stepped into a tough spot a couple weeks ago when they fired Ken Wisenhunt, but this is one of those divisions that could come down to a 8-8 record that ultimately winds up winning it and advancing to the postseason.
1st and 10, fake to blue. Made Washington. Cromartie ripped it out. They say it's incomplete. Bobbled it. Incomplete. The veteran Washington, who's played for a couple Super Bowl teams in Pittsburgh, cannot bring it in. 2nd and 10.
Well, he doesn't have the speed that he once did, but he's still a reliable veteran who knows what to do. And he's dependable. He's got to be able to make that catch. Too many drops. We've talked about it. 26 so far from the Houston Texans, which is the most by a lot in this league.
2nd and 10, blue. Duzable got a hand on him initially. It's a gain of 5, and he carries a couple down to the 49-yard line of the Jets. TJ Yates today, his 6th regular season start in his 5-year career, has put up these kind of possessions in the first half.
Yeah, you know, a mix, Kevin, of good and bad. And, you know, obviously the big play was the touchdown throw from Yates to DeAndre Hopkins for 61 yards. But this is going to be that type of a day against the Jets defense that gives you a lot of different looks from their secondary.
They got 6 in that secondary now. 3rd and 5. High and incomplete. I think Washington was his target with screen covering at about the 41. And downfield they had Hopkins, but yeah, he says it's on me. I misread it. He was going for him.
So we were out of practice on Friday, and I watched a couple periods, and they weren't very good. And they actually went off to the side field and had the receivers work with the quarterbacks, and it's not something they normally do on a Friday. But again, Kevin, you got a quarterback that just got into town, hasn't taken any reps with the ones, and you're trying to get that timing and the rhythm in the passing game with the quarterbacks and receivers.
6-time All-Pro Shane Leckler. Fair caught, Curley at the 13. 36-yard punt. Number 3 all-time in inside 20-yard punting. Leckler, timeout.
A good look at Nick Mangold with that right hand all wrapped up. Doesn't look like he can even grab a football well enough to snap it to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
6-time Pro Bowler Ivory running here. It's a 1st and 10. He's chased into the secondary, knocked out of bounds by Demps. He rumbles up to the 36, gains 23, longest play of the day for the Jets.
And a really nice cut here in the hole. Look at the penetration, but a nice sidestep by Chris Ivory. And at times I think you don't take into consideration his speed once he gets on the perimeter of a defense.
He's got 27 yards today on the ground. Fitzpatrick is 6 of 14, 1st and 10. Ivory. Wow, oh, and a fumble on the play. There was a hit on the play by McKinney, the rookie. Now they try to dig it out. Bernardrick McKinney out of Mississippi State. High pick, 2nd round, rookie. Has had his fingerprints on this on a couple of plays. As Wilfork is in there too. They got it. They got it. That's the 3rd fumble by Ivory this season, 2nd lost this year. McKinney, elbow, that's going to be reviewed. I'm sure they're going to challenge. It looked like he still had that ball in his possession when the elbow hit. Well, let's see if... Now, see, Tom Bowles is getting word from upstairs. His coach is watching in the booth. Watch the elbow.
Looks like he still has control of the football, and then the elbow comes down, then it comes out.
I don't think it's a fumble.
That'll get reversed.
They'll look at it. We'll step aside. 12 and a half to go in the 3rd with the Texans leading by 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Applebee's. Taste the change. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
reviewing a fumble, turnovers automatically
After reviewing
reviewed.
the play prior to the fumble, the runner was down by contact with the right forearm. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 35.5-yard line.
A turnover is
Clock will remain
automatically
as is.
reviewed, and my mistake, I said it was a challenge. It was not. Turnover is automatically reviewed. Mike Carey watched it as well. Mike, do you agree with the decision that it will be kept by the Jets?
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, Ivory's forearm goes down before the ball comes loose. This is one of those plays that when the umpire was behind the defense, he has a great look at this. It's kind of blind to a lot of people, so that speed is very, very hard to catch for the officials. But you see his right arm down before the ball comes loose.
Good point, Mike.
Down by contact.
Good. A great point on that. It can be seen by another official, moreover another, by their position. Umpire saw it. 2nd and 10. Fitzpatrick, and he's got Decker, but the pass is underthrown. And there's a flag, and it's going to go on Quentin Demps, the strong safety. And boy, has Decker been quiet today. Has not caught a pass.
Pass interference defense, number 27. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Well, Decker's going to get behind the safety, Demps, and Demps panics, never finds the football. Underthrown there, Eric Decker may have scored. He had to come back for it, and you see Demps never plays the ball in the air.
New York fans know him, played for the Giants last year, had 4 picks. 44-yard penalty in essence. Ridley tries to dance, can't find any room. Ooh, there's some shoving after the play. John Simon had made the stop. It was a loss of 2. It goes back to the 21. Rich, we are getting into the part of the season here beyond the midway point and getting close to December where these games, every quarter, every play has such terrific meaning, especially teams like this on the edge of the race.
There's got to be a sense of urgency, and clearly we're seeing that from this Houston defense in terms of how they've played over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Ridley is in as the back, 2nd and 12. Patrick, Marshall, incomplete coverage by Kevin Johnson. He tried to do a one-hander, and he couldn't do it.
I don't know what the deal is with this one. You don't get style points. I mean, you just look. I don't know if it's a perfect throw or not. I think he's trying to.
But he could have gotten that with 2 hands.
Well, he can. But I think he's trying to come out of the break under control. I think the quarterback's anticipating him crossing the face of the corner, and just good example of the receiver and quarterback not being on the same page.
Marshall has had a couple of 8-yard receptions today, just 2 catches. 3rd down and 12. And here he goes for Marshall, and he got him. Touchdown. They beat Kevin Johnson, the rookie. '21-yard touchdown pass. Fitzpatrick to the 5-time Pro Bowler Brandon Marshall.
Well, really, look how far off the corner is playing, and nice job by Marshall selling the slant route. They just ran it on the other side, and they go after the rookie for 6.
Marshall with his 7th touchdown reception. Fitzpatrick with his 16th touchdown pass. And they strike right there with one of their best receivers they've had there in a while in New York. First touchdown allowed in the last 13 quarters. With the Bullock extra point tying the game at 11:23 in the 3rd. There was a long penalty on Demps in the secondary for the Texans at 44 yards. And then Marshall spins and schools the rookie. Fitzpatrick ties the game. And Marshall with the 21-yard touchdown reception. And with the extra point, they tie it early in the 3rd. First touchdown, as we said, allowed by that Texan defense in a long time, over 12 quarters. So Bullock will get set to kick this off, and D-back is Akeem Hunt. The rookie free agent from Purdue, who spent some time with the Giants in camp, was let go, then Baltimore's practice squad, let go, then on the Houston practice squad, and called up this weekend. To a knee, to the 20, first down.
Well, you're going to see the free safety, Andre Howe. He's going to blitz, and then they're going to block it by having Bilal Powell pick up the free safety. This is a really good alert play by the back, giving Ryan Fitzpatrick enough time to set his feet and make a good, accurate throw in the corner of the end zone to Brandon Marshall.
Sometimes it's plays like that that stand out, and Powell had been active the last 2 games, had his best game of the season in the opener against Cleveland, but had been very quiet since then. Here's a 1st and 10 from the 20. It's Alfred Blue. Brooks tried to give a block, and he just bumped right into his own guy. There's Williams with the touch, and it was really clogged up by Lige Duzable. It's a loss of 2 on the play, and it's back to the 17-yard line. Fantasy players dominate your league with CBS Sports award-winning fantasy experts and analysis. Get real-time rankings, add drop and trade advice, plus much more. Go to cbssports.com/win.
Boy, TJ Yates has really cooled off, Kevin. Started out hot, 10 of 16 since. It's only 1 of 8.
4 in the secondary, 2nd down 13. Where they were coming close to him that time, he has that one whistle over the head of Washington. Is he feeling some pressure there, Rich, you think? Is he sensing that pocket is crumbling fast?
Well, they're starting to bring more 5- and 6-man pressures, and so you're seeing the feet start to move around a little bit. And you look at him calling those plays off of that forearm where he has them all on there. There's a limited number of plays than what you would see with Brian Hoyer. And they've spent a lot of time sitting down with the quarterback trying to get a feel for what his comfort level is in this offense.
The Jets are missing once again Sheldon Richardson with a hamstring. Missed 3 days of practice, inactive today. First time he's been inactive because of an injury. 3rd and 13 here. Multiple in the secondary. And a great catch made. That was a beauty by Shorts. Hit by Rivas and screamed. And he's got the 1st down up to the 33, 15-yard pickup.
Boy, Yates has made some really nice touch throws, Kevin, between a corner and a safety on the boundary, not just to Cecil Shorts, but to DeAndre Hopkins. For a guy that hasn't played a lot of football, his timing and his anticipation is pretty darn good.
That's a hard throw, huh?
It's a really difficult throw. Remember now, you're throwing it over number 24.
Yeah.
Darrelle Revis, he's not shied down from attacking the Pro Bowl corner.
With a 1st and 10 throw, goes outside, Shorts again. He got by Cromartie, and he's got open Green. He's got Gilchrist there who stops him with a good open field tackle. He's down to the 32 of the Jets. He picks up 35 and a 1st down for the Texans.
Well, this is Cromartie going for the big one, and if you swing and miss, sometimes you're in trouble. And he's going to undercut this. He's in position. He tries to make the play on it. He's just a tad late, and Cecil Shorts is off to the races.
I wonder how healthy Cromartie is with the injured thigh, bruised thigh from a week ago where he missed a game. 4-time Pro Bowl. Here's a 1st and 10. And this is Shorts who takes it this time in that Wildcat and a gain of 5, and he's down to the 27-yard line. We've seen him in that position a couple times. The player who had 4 years at Jacksonville and signed here in Houston as a free agent.
It's been a nice little changeup, Kevin. I'm curious to see if Cecil Shorts can throw it out of that Wildcat.
Shorts on this drive, receptions of 15 and 35. 2nd and long, 5 right here.
Hey, alert, 52's your blank. 120. What is that?
Blue, blocked by Quash. Ciafilo. Finally, he's brought down by David Harris, close to a 1st down, gain of 5, and near the 22-yard line. That was some kind of hard run by Alfred Blue.
Well, he doesn't have Arian Foster's speed or quickness, but I think where he's at his best is in that I formation with his heels at 8 yards, where he can use his power and strength between the tackles. He's not nearly as effective when he's offset in the gun.
1st and 10. Will Shorts throw? He will. And he's got the open running back, Blue, who took advantage of Demario Davis in pass coverage. 21-yard touchdown pass. Cecil Shorts touchdown throw. Texans have taken the lead. What a creative game plan today by George Godsey and head coach Bill O'Brien.
I just asked, can Cecil Shorts throw it? I guess we found out. Here's the back out of the backfield, and what they're going to do is they're going to throw the ball out to Shorts, and he's going to find the back streaking down the sidelines. And again, somebody's got to cover him look at Antonio Cromartie. He runs with the tight end, and nobody covers Alfred Blue.
First touchdown reception. Davis had the responsibility with one more point put on there by Novak. It's 17-10 Houston. Halfway through the third. Cecil Shorts, he authored that drive. A catch of 15 and 35. Then he throws a 21-yard touchdown pass to his open running back to put the Texans tied for first on top of the Jets.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. And by Jared the Gallery of Jewelry. The gift you'll treasure forever.
Killen's Barbecue, I can taste it right now. What a fun time we all had as a crew last night. One of the top barbecue spots in America, just outside of Houston. The line is long, the food is good. Now they celebrate the former high school quarterback in Ohio, Cecil Shorts, who has thrown his second career touchdown pass. He did it last year here for Jacksonville. He just did it moments ago for the Texans to put him on top with a 21-yard throw. And here's the kickoff with Cromartie. Mumphrey got one hand on him, number 12 right there. One return guy taking down the other. How about Cecil Shorts? We're back in Houston. The wide receiver has thrown a touchdown pass. The quarterback has thrown a touchdown pass. J.J. Watt and that defense trying to do a job on Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's got a surgically repaired left thumb. 9 days ago, he had the surgery. Here's 1st and 10. Giacomini holding off Watt. That pass is incomplete. Nice coverage by Jonathan Joseph. And they were going for the receiver at midfield. Incomplete.
Well, J.J. Watt, Kevin, such a handful. I think he's as good as there is at chasing runs down from behind. And I always say the hits and hurries are sometimes just as effective. And right now, he is the best at football at doing this, at getting the quarterback on the ground.
Last pass was going for Quincy Enunwa. He is active after the 4-game suspension. 2nd down and 10. He's in motion right now. Powell got outside. Cushing wrestles him down. 24-yard line. Gain of 5.
Well, the Jets are really struggling, trying to find some rhythm in the passing game. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Kevin, how about these numbers? 7 of 17 for just 68 yards. And you look at Decker's been shut out. Brandon Marshall has just the 3 catches. Surprised they haven't thrown the ball better against this Houston secondary. One of the problems is, though, you don't have a lot of time back there.
Right. Good point. 3rd and 5. 6 in the secondary. Fitzpatrick hit by Watt. 2nd sack today. And they lose yardage back to the 18. Loss of 6. Watt on the season's got 11.5 sacks. The punting unit's out there for the Jets.
Well, let's see what the Brickashaw Ferguson can do. Now they're going to move him around a little bit. They've got Clowney over there inside with them. And they get the one-on-one into Brickashaw Ferguson, one of the best left tackles in football. But now he gets his chance with J.J. Watt.
And again, Rich, they're moving them all over that line, aren't they?
They make it so difficult to make your declarations because, as you said, Kevin, he's moving all over from right to left, inside, outside.
Mumphrey, boy, they're jumping on him down there, aren't they? The first hit was by Kellen Davis. It was a high, long snap from Purdom. 2-yard return, 42-yard quickly punt. J.J. Watt is a one-man wrecking crew. On Thursday, as part of Salute to Service Week, 150 troops joined the Texans to watch practice and meet the players. Then afterward, they were treated to a wonderful barbecue feast. They loved every bite. And there is a look at T.J. Yates's grandfather, Floyd Bollinger, who passed away recently. He was a Marine during World War II in Germany. And Richie was talking to you and said that this week means a lot, this month means a lot to him.
They actually had the funeral service, Kevin, on Saturday in Kansas City. His parents flew down from Kansas City, and they're here today. And of course, this is, as TJ said, this game means a lot to him to be able to certainly remember and recognize his grandfather.
And salute the fake to Grimes. Blocked by Brooks. Grimes gets the ball. And he winds his way into the secondary where he is brought down by Calvin Face at the 44-yard line. Weaving catch and run of 19 yards for Jonathan Grimes. First down.
This is nice by Grimes. He's going to come up in here and then he's going to kind of work his way out. And he's just going to find a little hole after he checks his protection. See him looking back inside. Now he's just going to sneak out. Now watch him split this tackle right here. Boom. He has really helped. You know, he's not necessarily taken the place of Arian Foster, but he's so much better in the passing game as compared to what they have with Alfred Blue.
He's in the Wildcat right now, and the former Jet finds room again into the secondary. On that 1st and 10, Doozable got him. Gilchrist assisted. Gain of 9 to the 36-yard line of the Jets.
When you talk about his zone blocking scheme up front, nice job by this offensive line. Check out Jones, the center. He's going to get a double team. Does a nice job with a nose tackle. The back's just going to cut off the block by Ben Jones.
Look at that offensive line. In particular, you know, that left guard position, they've had 5 different guys over there start 5 different left guards this season. A lot of teams can say that with injuries and such. Second and long one. Here comes the blitz again. Going outside. And they were bringing that time Aaron Henderson. Henderson, 58. Didn't play last year. He was a 3-year starter for the Vikings. You know something about him, Rich. He came through unencumbered.
He's a good player for the Vikings for a long time, and it's a free shot. They don't even pick him up. They're one short there with their protection scheme. That's the thing about Todd Bowles, you know, that he's going to make sure that he continues to change up the looks and continues to keep the pressure on this young quarterback.
Offensive coordinator for the Jets against the offensive coordinator for the Texans. Nice matchup today. A veteran like Chan Gailey and a early play caller for the Texans as Akeem Hunt tries to run outside, and the little pitch, the rookie free agent out of Purdue, is close to a first down. Yeah, we have a seasoned play caller on one side, a young one, Godsey, on the other side. Matching which today here in Houston. Looks like he's got the first down. He does.
Boy, it's a nice physical run by Akeem Hunt at the end. Good hit by Darrelle Revis.
Sure was.
Talk about throwing your body around, being a willing tackler. That was Darrelle Revis right there, and he's slow to get up.
He is indeed. Took a wallop. Revis in his 9th year out of Pitt. So as we check his condition, let's quickly take you to New York for an update. And here's James Brown.
Miami evens it up.
Yeah, Tannehill got off to a slow start, but here he's picking it up, hits it over the top to Kenny Still. That's a pass right there. 29 yards for the touchdown, all tied up, 14-14.
Back to Kevin and Rich.
Kenny Stills came as a free agent from the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, they got to get him going a little bit.
They're still attending, as you can see. Revis, of course, this game has a lot. Both teams in the wild card race, but on the outside looking in after the 4-1 start. The Jets now 5-4 off their most damaging loss of the season 10-11 days ago to the Buffalo Bills, and tied with Buffalo. And then when you take a look at the Houston Texans, they are tied for the lead in the South. They lost earlier to the Colts, but they're both tied for first. Colts are down by 7 right now. 0-2 start to begin the year for the Texans. They've won 2 in a row, 3 of their last 4, and they are making moves with a tie for first place and a huge win, a signature victory for their head coach, Bill O'Brien, in Cincinnati Monday.
And Kevin, I worked with a play caller one time that every time a corner would go out of the game, he'd take a shot. You know, you'd say, hey, we're not going to give the next corner that comes in a chance to really get comfortable. And so we're going to go right after him. I'm very curious to see in this situation, 1st and 10, whether or not the Texans take a shot.
Well, Marcus Williams is on one corner, Cromartie on the other, 5 in the secondary, 1st and 10. Blue got a good block from Ben Jones, the center. And Cromartie will bring him down. What a burst to the 20-yard line and a gain of 14 yards as Houston has got the momentum in the game.
Suafilo and Brown on the left side do a nice job. They get moving at the point. You see Alfred Blue much more decisive. He's heading straight downhill against that 2-deep coverage.
So Blue is carried it 15 times for 46 yards. Yates, the quarterback, 14 of 29 with 206 in the yardage category and a touchdown pass of 61 yards. The wide receiver has thrown a touchdown pass today for the Texans. 1st and 10. And they're going after the new cornerback, and they've got Hopkins. Rich, you called it. They beat Marcus Williams, taking the place of the injured Darrelle Revis.
Well, they got the matchup they wanted, Kevin. We talked about Revis on the sidelines and going after Marcus Williams with your best receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, and they didn't do it on the first play because they had too deep coverage. This time you're going to have single coverage, and look at the release. Look how Hopkins uses that left arm to create some separation between himself and the defender.
Hopkins' second touchdown reception. Yates' second touchdown pass. Novak with the extra point. 24-10 late in the third. The first place Texans are looking to get to 500. Hopkins has his 5th 100-yard receiving game of the season. Well over 1,000 yards. This is a player everybody is paying attention to in the top 5 in yards and receptions in the NFL.
Well, Kevin, he's been targeted more than any receiver in the game. 123 times already coming into this one, and they went right after Darrelle Revis. He has really risen to this occasion to be able to get a chance to play against the best in the business. As you mentioned, he's ranked among the best in the league in several offensive categories, including receiving, yards, touchdowns. Guy is a playmaker at wide receiver.
He said he used to play for a play caller who would always try to cash in on a new cornerback because who was the play caller?
John Gruden.
John Gruden, okay, thank
and
you.
He'd say, hey, Rich, Revis is out, let's take a shot.
He'd say that in the radio in your helmet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure that conversation was had between George Godsey and TJ Yates. We're going to take a shot. If it's not there, find me a completion, but we've got the matchup that we're looking for.
Hopkins with 2 touchdown receptions today. Yates with his 6th start in 5 years in the regular season. Off the street, signed by the team, replacing the concussed Brian Hoyer. Kickoff with Cromartie leaving it in the end zone with a touchback to the 20. The Jets have scored today on a 21-yard touchdown pass. Fitzpatrick to Marshall. Friday, the SEC on CBS goes into holiday mode when the Missouri Tigers tangle with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Then Saturday, it's the Iron Bowl. Iron Bowl with number 2 Alabama playing the Auburn Tigers, and it all begins with Inside College Football and College Football Today.
Kevin, the Jets' offense has been held without a first down on 6 of their 9 possessions here today.
Ivory is in 1st and 10. Got by a couple. Finally, McKinney brings him down after a gain of 7 up to the 27.
And the Jets really aren't built to play from behind, Kevin. You look at the situation right now. You got a quarterback that had thumb surgery on Thursday or Friday. You're without your starting Pro Bowl center, Nick Mangold, and you're facing the best pass rushing defense in football.
Player down there was the rookie Christian Covington. He's out of Rice and a 6th-round pick, and he's part of a contingent of young defensive players seeing time for the Texans. Yeah, there's a lot on the plate, isn't there, Rich?
Yeah, there really is. And, you know, look, somebody has to step up and make a play. It's Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Kevin. He's been shut out today. And we know about the tight ends. They don't throw the ball to the tight ends. Just 6 receptions. You look at the Jets' tight ends, really a non-factor, the fewest amount of receptions in the league. They're not in there to catch the ball. They're in there to block. But Decker, they've got to find a way to get him going here a little bit.
You saw Mangold. He's got the injured hand. And Revis, by the way, even though the defense is resting, is in the locker room. They've taken him into the locker room. We'll try to update that when we get word. He was out, and they exploited his replacement, Marcus Williams.
You know, if it were me right now, I'd go no huddle. You know, and why would I do that? It's not a sense of we need to, the clock is an issue, but I want to change the tempo, Kevin. I have to do something differently. We can't convert 3rd downs. Let's not allow them to make substitutions. Let's not allow Romeo Crennel to dial up all those pressures. Let's change the tempo and the pace in terms of how we're playing.
2nd down long, 3 Ivory. Head first into the defense. Merciless. Part of a couple making the stop. Watt got in there too. Gain of 2 up to the 29. Watt has to get up in a hurry. Felt he was being unfairly dealt with, and you can see the result in the anchor.
I didn't like it. Just keep an eye right here at the end of the play. He's going to push him right at the end of the play. You see the right tackle. Giacomini. He didn't like that.
3rd and 1. Giacomini had the good block right there. And they're going for Decker. Did he bring it in? He was working on Johnson. And they say caught. And what a catch. Juggle in the flag thrown. Ball at the 46. 25-yard reception by Decker. Flag in the backfield and a flag downfield.
There's no way he caught that. There's no way.
If he did, that is some kind of catch. But the flags, they say he got it, and it looks like it may be against the Texans.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense number 30. Penalties decline. Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 55. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
Clearly it's pass interference, Kevin Johnson. There's no way he can catch this, can he? He literally gets that right arm around it, the forearm, before it hits the ground.
I don't know if we're going to get a clear view.
I'm not so sure.
Let's see. It was a penalty nonetheless. You know what? I think he
trapped it with his forearm.
I think he got his forearm under the ball.
Wow.
What a catch. They're going to challenge. Flag has been thrown. So we'll see. But just on first blush, and you and I just saw it there for the first time, it looked like...
I don't think there's enough to overturn it. I think he gets that right arm, the forearm in there. The ball moves around a little bit, but it moves around between his forearm and his chest. That was a great effort by Eric Decker. I mean, clearly he's being interfered with. He keeps his concentration. The ball bounces off the defender, Kevin Johnson, and he gets that right arm under there, and I think he traps it against his right pec. Can't really tell whether, yeah, I think he's got his fist and his.
Well, if they win the challenge, they save field position.
We talked about
because the penalty would only be a 5-yard. It's a 25-yard gain. It's 1st and 10 either way. If they take the penalty, it's only 5 yards. 3 touchdown passes by the Texans today. 1 by the wide receiver, 2 by the backup quarterback. The Jets got a touchdown pass. Fitzpatrick to Marshall, 21 yards. Decker, you see him play more Rich out of the slot and inside more than Marshall. You don't see Marshall as often.
I think you got to be able to move these guys around. Maybe Marshall's numbers have gone down, Kevin, certainly in the last month, and one of the reasons why is he's getting doubled. So you got to help him as the play caller.
Mike Carey is in New York. He's watched the play, and who better to bring in and decipher this one, Mike?
Well, this is a real close one. The rule is he has to have control before the ball hits the ground.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. Houston is charged with their first
25-yard gain.
Is that how you saw it, Mike?
No. If you watch closely, his right hand where he comes up with when he's on the ground, it's in a fist. The ball's on the ground, and then he rolls over, and then he brings the ball into his body. If I was ruling this, I'd rule this incomplete. The ball was clearly on the ground.
I saw it differently, Mike. I felt like he had that ball trapped between his right wrist and fist and his forearm and his chest. I know it was bouncing around, but I never felt like I saw it hit the ground.
Well, the ball was clearly on the ground.
That's why you and I don't agree. It wouldn't be the first time.
Thank you, Mike. Houston loses the challenge. They lose a timeout. And 1st and 10. He's going for Smith, who got the ball and drops it. Working on Kevin Johnson.
Boy, it's been a tough year so far for the rookie Devin Smith, Kevin. Their 2nd-round pick. I mean, this is a really nice throw by the quarterback. You have got to make this catch. Not the easiest catch, but you can't short-arm it in that situation.
I thought maybe he lost it initially and then had reconfigured his body to get the ball. And you can see it was right in his hand, but initially he may have had to locate it.
Well, you don't get a second chance very often. And the other rookie right there, Kevin Johnson, does a nice job ripping out his right arm.
6 in the secondary, 2nd down and 10 for Fitzpatrick. There's Decker again with the tackle made by Pleasant and a gain of 17 and a Jet 1st down to the 30-yard line of the Texans.
The thing about Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a gunslinger, and he's not going to he's not going to slow down. He's going to keep taking shots against this Houston defense.
It appears that Rivas, who's in the locker room, took a pretty good hit by running back Akeem Dent. Is going to spend some time there with concussion protocol, head injury. We'll update, and when we find out, you will. First down and 10. Ridley in the backfield. Powell will take it, and then he is upended on the play by Kevin Johnson, who sideswipes him and allows only a gain of 3. And the ball is down to the 27-yard line of the Texans.
This is a critical drive, Kevin. You're down by 14 points. You know, every possession down this part of the field, you got to make some hay. You can't be settling for field goals.
Powell remains, second down and 7. Fitzpatrick says something to Marshall as he was crossing. Deflected and caught on the line by the center, Wesley Johnson, but obviously it's a loss of 5, and he's back to the 32.
Well, it's been a point of emphasis all week for the Houston Texans, getting their hands up. This is a quarterback that's had a lot of balls batted. He's got a lower release. He's not the tallest quarterback, and at times he can throw from a 3-quarter release. Talked to a bunch of these guys, these Texans defenders, on Friday. They talked about getting their hands up and making it difficult on Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Exhausting game. Texans on top. Let's go to the 4th. Three Texan touchdown passes, 2 by the quarterback, 1 by the wide receiver. Touchdown pass for the Jets. Fitzpatrick with the surgically repaired left hand, non-throwing hand. And he threw a 21-yarder to Marshall. We begin the 4th. They're on the move at the 32 with a 3rd and 12, needing the 20. And he's looking again for Marshall with coverage by Johnson. There was no yellow in the end zone, but there is a flag at the 40, and it's against the Jets on a hold. If you take the hold, you put him out of field goal range.
Offense number 60, 10-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
So now 3rd and 22.
Well, right there, Jabrickershaw Ferguson. Again, who's in front of him? J.J. Watt. And it's interesting, in talking to Chan Gailey last night, Kevin, he said there's so many holding penalties against this defense because of how active they are with their defensive line, that when they broke down the 3rd downs, there were more 3rd and longs than they have seen all season against this Houston defense.
3rd and 22. Decker's had a couple big catches on this drive. Powell is in. Fitzpatrick, and incomplete. And Nunwa was down there. Decker was in the vicinity. A lot of blue jerseys, including Quentin Depps and Kevin Johnson. 4th down.
He's throwing the ball right up the seam, trying to get it to.
Well, there are 2 guys in the 5 yards apart.
Yep, Pleasant makes a nice play on it, Kevin. That's not an easy throw for Fitzpatrick with corner trailing and help over the top from the safety.
Quigley punt, almost blocked. And good English on it, not a bounds at the 6. Terrific punt for Quigley. Rush was put on that time by Max Bulla. Watch 53 comes zipping in and almost getting it. Nice shot of Houston. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by DirecTV. Texans the last 2 possessions, 63 and 80 yards. Both touchdown drives. With the 1st and 10. TJ Yates, Alfred Blue. Found the ankles, he found usable, and it's a gain of 5 to the 11-yard line.
Well, it's been a challenging day for Darrelle Revis, to say the least. Looks like he gets nicked on this play, but he gave up the first touchdown of the day to DeAndre Hopkins for 61 yards. He's been on and off the field, and
he's off right now. Took the knee of Akeem Hunt So now they've got Marcus Williams, who was just hit for a touchdown pass from Hopkins. 2nd down, 5, Blue. He's got Harrison down low. He drags him maybe for a little bit out to the 14. Texans, the 8th time facing 3rd and 4 or less coming up with a gain right there of a couple. 3rd and 1 now coming up. Blue will take a seat and Grimes will take his place. Called 3rd and 2 with the Wildcat. Shorts, Grimes didn't get a good stop inside. And Leonard Williams was one of a couple to make the stop. Short of the first, 15-yard line. Here comes the punt unit for the Houston Texans. Good defensive series there for the Jets.
Really good series there, Kevin, especially with the struggles that your offense is having now. And you got a chance to get some good field position. Offense has to start doing their part. I thought their defense played well enough last Thursday night against the Buffalo Bills to win. Offense has been on sabbatical here the last couple weeks.
Leckler to Curley at about the 27-yard line. Lattimore trying to give him a block. And he was brought down by special teamer Curtis Drummond. 13-yard return by Curley, a good one, and a 57-yard punt by Leckler. And I'm looking for a yellow. There's a flag. With the discussion, Jets in the second half have had it 4 times, 3 punts, and the Fitzpatrick to Marshall touchdown pass. And they'll have, pending of course the call here, their 5th possession as we're just into the 4th quarter.
During the kick, personal foul, receiving team number 41 blocked the gunner while out of bounds. That's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st and 10.
That's on the Jets defensive back Buster screen, which will move them back. Thursday, December 3rd, your weekend starts right here with an NFC North matchup as the Packers take on the Detroit Lions. Thursday night football only on CBS and NFL Network. They paid some good money to get Screen, who was a starter last year for the Browns. He's had 4 starts this season. He is battling a shoulder injury and a hand injury today. He'll take a breather, but he was just called for the penalty, and you see the penalties called. The 5th on the Jets moves them back to the 14, 1st down and 10. So they kind of flipped the field right there.
What Shane Leckler does as well as any punter in football.
Yep, you talked about it earlier. Fitzpatrick will throw into the nickel. Outside he goes with the tackle made by James. The catch was grabbed by Anunwa. It's a 6-yard grab, and he's up to the 20.
Yeah, Charles James, he was the star of Hard Knocks, and I think it's good to see him back here in Houston, Kevin. He went down, cut, signed by Baltimore off the practice squad, and he is thrilled to be back in a Texans uniform. Played a lot of snaps inside in their nickel.
2nd down for Ivory. Carpenter tried to throw a block, but there was terrific penetration. There once again was the former Rookie of the Year, Brian Cushing. No gain on the play, and they stay at the 20.
Well, they've got a bit of the dilemma, the Jets. This quarterback is much better and more comfortable out of the shotgun. You've got a running back, Kevin, that's better from the I formation with the quarterback under center. And you got a quarterback that's got an injury with his left thumb. And that's been a problem. That's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, they have not run the ball as effectively with Chris Ivory.
Because he likes to run out of the eye.
It's better. He's 8 yards in the eye, downhill, 1 cut. He's got better vision. He's much more comfortable, and that's really where he has the history.
Powell is in now, 3rd and 4. He guns it. Fitzpatrick, Marshall, flag, tackle by Kevin Johnson. Up to the 25, enough yardage as it stands now for the 1st. But let's decipher the flag. Fitzpatrick 11 of 23 through the air today, by the way, for 110 yards through the air.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 30. Penalties decline, result of the play, 1st down.
Kevin Johnson.
Right there,
the place,
right with the left hand on Brandon Marshall. This, I really like this young corner, Kevin Johnson. Really played well last week against A.J. Green and the Bengals. See him playing with a lot more confidence each time out. Certainly helps that he played so much football in college. He played in 47 games, starting the last 41 at Wake Forest.
Powell remains 1st and 10. Oh, bad snap from Wesley Johnson, who is the backup center because Mangold is out with a hand injury. His first errant snap in the gun. Powell alertly gets it, loss of 9. They're back to the 16-yard line.
And if you're going to miss, you got to miss to his right side, not his left side. He just had surgery on that left thumb. He's not going to be able to make this catch.
No.
But a good alert play by Bilal Powell. Boy, these self-inflicted wounds have been a killer today for the Jets. Just can't seem to find their rhythm on offense as you look at Nick Mangold. That's a guy they cannot afford to lose the rest of the way.
2nd down 19, they need the 35. And they got it with Decker. Clutch catch brought down by Dents. 22-yard pickup on 2nd down and 19. And the Jets are up to the 38.
This is a really nice throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick, and not an easy one as he's sliding to his left. Going to fit this one and watch him slide a little bit to be able to create some separation between himself and the rush, and then fit this in between the corner and the safety. That really tests your arm strength in that situation.
See what Decker has done. First half, second half. Watt gets Fitzpatrick. We're going to get an update on the Indianapolis Colts from New York and James.
Colts refuse to fold.
Yeah, they do right here off a play-action pass. Marion drops back, gets picked off for the second time today. Jaquel Jackson takes it back 6 yards. All knotted up 21-21 in the fourth quarter.
9:08 and counting in regulation. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Colts have had a couple of fourth quarter comeback wins today in this season. Coming back today to tie it. Thank you, James. 2nd down and 10. Fitzpatrick and knocked away. That was a terrific play by Charles James. Ball ricochets incomplete. They were going for Decker.
A lot of young players making plays today for Houston on both sides of the ball. You know, these are guys that they just signed to their active roster, and they're out there playing a lot of snaps and making some critical plays.
Let's watch for Marshall here. He's going to line up inside. He's had a couple of 3rd down receptions in the second half. Third and 10. Pocket crumbles and down goes Fitzpatrick. John Simon got a hand on him. Jadeveon Clowney was in there. 3rd sack today. Loss of 5. Here comes the punting unit for the Jets.
Yeah, just a 4-man rush. And they just do a great job squeezing the pocket on Ryan Fitzpatrick. It closes so quickly. He's looking for a seam. You see Clowney, he's right there. He comes off. Simon comes off. Nowhere to go.
Quigley gets the ball with Keith Mumphrey, a rookie and a 5th-round pick out of Michigan State, from his own 20-yard line. Fumble on the play. It may have been jarred loose by Trevor Riley. It looked like he got a first hand on it. This is a huge play right here. As Mumphrey continues to dig. Aaron Henderson at the bottom of the pile, too.
I think Riley and Henderson kind of sandwiched them, and I think it was Henderson that maybe popped the ball out.
Jets have not turned it over today.
Well, you're fighting for your dear life if you're Mumphrey at the bottom of that pile.
And the Texans have 1 turnover today. So the Texans can smile about this. They were able to keep the ball. They lead it. We're in the middle of the 4th from Houston on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Creed. This Wednesday, fight for your name. The all-new LG V10. Capture the in-between moments. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
We've told you the Texans have won 3 of 4. One of the keys, Rich, they have not been turning the ball over. The last 4 games, +7. First 5 games, they were -8, the Texans.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, and they're protecting the quarterback, Kevin. Just the one sack today from the Jets, and if it turned into a 5-sack game, they'd have no chance.
Yates does have a fumble today. It's been the game's only turnover. 1st and 10 from the 23. Blue is in and gets the ball. And the leading tackler there to bring him down. David Harris allows a gain of 3 up to the 26.
Just keep an eye on Mumphrey. He's going to lose the football, and then the ball is actually going to wind up behind him.
Aaron Henderson, I think, was the one who knocked it away.
So he's got it with his right arm, but then he gets pushed around, so he has no leverage. And it's not always the guy that starts with it, as you know, at the bottom of a pile that ends up with it. There's a lot of monkeying and funny business that goes on there. Trust me, I've been on the bottom of those piles just trying to get the ball back. That's a great effort by Keith Mumphrey. Maybe it would have been a disaster had they turned the ball over in that situation.
2nd down and 7. Brought in Lamb as an extra blocker there, number 63, the rookie, and Harrison will bring him down after a gain of 2 to the 28. How does the game plan now shift with a lead at this stage of the game?
Well, the conversation that I'm having with the young quarterback in this situation, Kevin, is we can't lose this game now in offense. We got a 14-point lead. We're inside 8 minutes, and we've got to be smart. I want you to see every throw. I want you to seat the ball and make sure that you follow the football when you hand it off. Let's not do anything crazy. And we're thrown in the direction of Cromartie or one of these corners. See the throw. If it's not there, throw the ball away. Our defense is playing too well right now.
Revis is still out. Williams taking his place. 3rd and 5. Yates, that was in back of shorts with the coverage by the linebacker Harris. So it's 4th down, and the defense of the Jets does their job. Here comes Leckler to punt for the Texans, and the second consecutive 3 and out for Houston.
Well, George Godsey's going to be smart, Kevin. He's got a quarterback, a young quarterback that's only been here a couple weeks, and he knows that our defense is playing well. We've got a great punter, and we've got to be smart in this situation.
Leckler, sends up a beauty. Curley at the 15-yard line. He got by Morse. Being chased by Brush, and out of bounds he goes with a 12-yard return after the 57-yard Leckler punt. Timeout. Tonight, how prepared are we for a terror strike? Find out how big American cities are planning to protect themselves tonight on 60 Minutes. Only CBS. Fitzpatrick has been sacked 3 times today. The offensive line came in as the number 1 in the fewest sacks allowed. But 3 times they've gotten to him. Watt twice. Here he comes on 1st and 10. Powell. Room to roam. A good fake there on James. He's going to get a block downfield by Marshall, and he's forced out of bounds by Eddie Pleasant. He has the catch and run of 25. That is a big play by Powell. They're going to put the ball at the 48 of the Texans.
This is really nice design because you think he's over here to block, but then he's going to go over there and he's going to bluff. He's actually going to bluff J.J. Watt, and then he just turns right back underneath. And look at that offensive line and get out in front of it. Good finish there by Bilal Powell.
1st and 10. 6 defensive backs. He found the seam. Decker again. It was brought down by Pleasant after an 18-yard pickup. Decker has had a terrific second half for the Jets.
And they found him up the seam, Kevin, inside in the slot against the secondary. He's had a really nice second half. 4 down territory now for the New York Jets the rest of the way.
They've got 3 timeouts. A lot of time left. 1st and 10. Underneath here, Powell. He made Cushing miss, and Clowney gets a gain of 5 to the 25 of the Texans.
I like the fact now that they're jumping the ball. I was asking for this about 15 minutes ago. Slow down, J.J. Watt. Don't let these guys substitute. Don't let them catch their breath. Just keep jumping the football and let Ryan Fitzpatrick spread them out and make good throws.
You mean getting it out quick.
That's it.
2nd down and 5. Good block by Ferguson. Time for the quarterback into the end zone on the chalk.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, Johnson was there, and Quentin Dempps. And here's on the white. They've already gone to him once today for a 21-yard touchdown pass. Brandon Marshall.
And he just ran out of space. Need about another half a yard. He gets the... Nope, doesn't get either foot down.
But a terrific catch nonetheless with the guy right there.
That's a guy that's not going to back down. Kevin Johnson, we talked about the matchup last week. He had a couple PIs against A.J. Green, but came out and continued to make big plays.
He's starting for the injured Kareem Jackson. 3rd and 5. He'll run it. Fitzpatrick, he needs the 20. And because he went head first, he'll be closer than had he gone foot first. And there was a Watt tackle, helped by Simon. They need the 20, and they're that close to it for a first. It's 4th down. And they quickly huddle. Fitzpatrick got it. Pleasant got him. Gutty play by Fitzpatrick. Gain of 3, first down. The drive continuing for the Jets.
That's a real gutty play, Kevin. He was under the knife on Friday, and you know he's protecting himself with that left thumb. He can't really carry the ball in that hand, and not a guy that's going to slide, but he's giving you everything he has late in the game.
Yeah, 9 days ago, he says it's the pain threshold he's concerned about. 1st and 10. And to the end zone for Decker. Smothered by Pleasant. With an incomplete in the second. 10 coming up for Fitzpatrick.
Well, it's been his go-to guy here in the second half. Well, here's the 3rd down run, and watch, he's going to try and land on this right shoulder to protect that. Look at, see how he's keeping that left thumb out of the way and up high, and then he sneaks it on 4th down, and he goes off the left tackle because the Texans were expecting it up inside that A-gap between the center and the guard.
You can say that Fitzpatrick's going up against his old team. He's gone up against a lot of his old teams. He's been around the league, 6 of them. 2nd and 10.
6 different teams in 11 seasons.
But he did start for this team last year, 12 games. 2nd and 10 underneath Powell, and he finds room to roam to the 6, picking up 12. First down, Jets, 1st and goal with a sense of urgency. That's Powell's 3rd reception on this Jet drive, which started back at their own 27. 1st and goal.
Quarterback draw again. Here it comes.
Here he goes. Oh, and he got in. He lost his helmet, but didn't lose the ball. And a touchdown for Fitzpatrick. What guts.
I don't know if that's guts or that's insanity.
Oh, my goodness.
This was a design call. This is a quarterback draw all the way. Watch the hit he's going to take here from Pleasant. Bam.
Oof.
And then he gets up and he doesn't look right.
Look
at
that.
That eye in the sky be looking down at Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's about as tough as it comes. Think this isn't important to him, playing against his former team?
That's leadership. That's taking the ball in your own hands with the extra point here, put up and in by Bullock. And it's a touchdown game. And the Jets are back in business because this guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, led a 9-play, 73-yard drive. He lost his helmet, but not his head.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new 6th Gen Intel Core processor. It's Intel's best processor ever. And by Subway, the legendary sweet onion chicken teriyaki. Subway, eat fresh.
Coming up in the Subway postgame show, JB and Company, scores, news, and highlights from a busy day in the NFL, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Some heady play by quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick with a touchdown run of 6 yards to complete a good-looking drive.
Kevin, he has shown some great toughness and determination despite some very difficult circumstances today. This guy refuses to give in.
The Jets with the kickoff in Bullock. And here is Akeem Hunt, who bobbled it, and you saw it go out of bounds. 20-yard line, touchback, 1st down and 10.
Well, look at this effort by Fitzpatrick. The planned draw, and he just refuses to slide and protect himself. He goes in head first, and then you see the doctors on the sidelines asking him, what just happened? And they'll ask you questions. Well, describe the last play. What was the route run? What was the play before that? He seems like he answered the right questions, and we're going to see him again to finish up this game.
But how about that drive with the run on 4th down to get the first and takes it in? This is some kind of performance. And here we have a Houston team which has it now, and their lead is cut down to 7, 1st down and 10. Somebody moved. False start.
False start. Offense number 60. Double clutch snap. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And that's the center, Ben Jones, who started each game, the only Houston offensive lineman to do so. Houston in their last 2 possessions, 3 and outs.
I was just looking for that. I just had that note that Pat passed over, and I threw it on the floor by accident. I had so many notes on my desk, but good nugget.
1st and 15. Blue. Good tackle by Harrison. Hit by Harris. They combine, gain of 2 to about the 18-yard line. Make it the 17.
Well, it's tough to turn it on and off. You know, you get in that mode where you've got a 14-point lead. Now all of a sudden you get tight a little bit. You're only up by 7, and the Jets are really playing well defensively. And of course, the play by Ryan Fitzpatrick can inspire a football team.
They're doing a good job, the defense of the Jets, on Hopkins, who has 5 receptions for the game, 4 in the first half, and just 1 here in the second.
Despite not having Darrelle Revis out there in the secondary.
Revis, they're looking at his head, the Wildcat in shorts, picks up 2. Harrison right there. Wilkerson also on that second down and 13.
And good football teams have the ability to adjust in game. And we saw this Wildcat earlier. It surprised the Jets, but they have since done a really nice job making the adjustment at the line of scrimmage.
All right, the Jets have just taken a timeout with 3.5 to go. And again, cleaning up the Revis story. If you're joining us late, took a shot, a knee to the head on a tackle on a run. And the concussion protocol going through with him in the locker room right now. We've not seen him since he was injured. And so they brought in Marcus Williams, and they quickly hit him on a touchdown pass as he took the place of Revis. That guy
still over there talking to him.
And the blue hat is over there visiting as well. The unaffiliated doctor who takes a look at all players that are going through a concussion protocol on the sideline, a test. 3rd and 11. It's Washington, who is brought down by Cromartie. He's up to the 22. He picks up 3. Flag is thrown at the 36 in the secondary.
12 men in the field. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
This is amazing. How does something like this happen in a critical situation? You got them all in there. 12. Some confusion, communication breakdown. You've got one player trying to get off the field. The other one thought they just weren't lined up. That's a costly mistake. Now you give the Texans another shot here on 3rd down.
They need the 30.
Still can't make the adjustment. See players up here coming on and off the field.
3rd and 6 for Houston. And this is going to warrant a Houston timeout.
I think you're trying to guess right in this situation, Kevin. If you're Bill O'Brien and George Godsey, the conversation has to be, what is Todd Bowles going to do in this situation? This is a must-have 3rd down situation. Is he going to come after my young quarterback, or is he going to play coverage?
Holiday tradition carries on as Cam Newton and the undefeated Panthers visit Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys down in Texas. The festivities begin with their Super Bowl 50 team, JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on a special holiday edition of the NFL Today.
Cam Newton quietly making a case for league MVP. 15 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns already.
Add 5 more from today. 5 touchdown passes for Cam Newton. So the Houston Texans are tied for first place at 4-5 in their division. They've won 2 straight, 3 of 4. They're coming off their biggest win over then undefeated Cincinnati on Monday. 3rd down and 6.
Somebody's got to win against man-to-man coverage.
Yates, good defensive play that time by Williams. They were going outside to Hopkins, targeted right there. 4th down, here comes the punting unit.
Really nice play by Marcus Williams. He's going to see it the whole way. They run the hitch route. He jumps on it, gets that left hand in there. Heady play by the young corner.
The Jets come into today after their 4-1 start. They've lost 3 of 4. They lost a tough one at home to Buffalo with 4 turnovers, 22-17. And they're tied with Buffalo behind the undefeated Patriots in the East. Curley from the 31. He fetches the Leckler punt. He takes it up, and he is ridden out of bounds by Brian Peters. 12-yard return and a 45-yard Leckler punt. Coming up, the Subway postgame show from our CBS studios in New York with JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores and highlights and all kinds of news up on the Subway postgame show from our studios.
Just keep thinking about that scar. Ryan Fitzpatrick came into our production meeting last night. He took off his brace and he kind of showed us that that area. Just Really amazing that he's able to go out there and play as well as he has here in the second half.
Jets with good beginning field position and 2 timeouts. Down by 7. Fitzpatrick. Marshall. And he slips through the grasp of Jonathan Joseph, who has injured himself earlier in the game. It's a gain of 5, and he's up to the Jet 46.
And a good look at Todd Bowles, and he's put together a really good coaching staff in his first year. I think Chan Gailey has done a really nice job with this offense. And I think it helps the fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick and Chan Gailey had a history together prior in Buffalo. So the quarterback knows the play caller. Obviously, the play caller knows what Ryan Fitzpatrick is comfortable with in these situations.
Powell is in, 2nd and 5. Fitzpatrick, and almost picked off. Good play by Demps as they were going for Anunwa, who's caught a couple passes today for New York.
Well, I'd love to see Anunwa come back and cross the face. Don't allow the safety to drive on that football. The secondary, Kevin, they've made some plays today without Kareem Jackson. Jonathan Joseph has been in and out of the lineup. Boyer, Kevin Johnson, Pleasant, Demps.
3rd down and 5. This is against the number 1 3rd down defense in football. Tipped. And the ricochet. And almost hauled in by Decker. On that line, the ball was tipped.
Boy, he gets a lot of them batted. I think part of it is, Kevin, he has the ability to throw from different arm angles. You'll see a number of 3-quarter and sidearm throws, especially to his right. And again, he's not very tall. I think Clowney gets this one. He's going to beat the brick of Shaw Ferguson across his face. And again, all Fitzpatrick is trying to do is just trying to find a throwing lane.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 5.
We got 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Similar situation last week. They were up by 5, and they decided to go for it instead of kick the field goal.
4th and 5. Fitzpatrick, and intercepted, picked off by Pleasant, intended for Smith.
Well, Kevin, I think you got to look at how your defense is playing. Your defense has been playing terrific. You pin him, you punt the ball there, you pin him back, you've got 2:47 and a couple timeouts. I think this was the wrong decision for the second straight week for Todd Bowles. Last week, I didn't agree with the decision when they were up by 5 on 4th down. I felt they should have kicked the field goal. They had 3:30, they were down by 5, I'm sorry. They were in a situation where they had 3:33 and all 3 timeouts left and the 2-minute warning, and they decided to go for it on 4th and down. They've been too aggressive the last 2 weeks.
Pleasant comes up with his first interception of the season. From the 37, 1st and 10. Jets have 2 timeouts. Blue gets the call.
Make them use them.
Wilkerson swallows them up. No gain on the play. They stay at the 37. The 2-minute warning will stop the clock. And a timeout taken here by the Jets, so they're down to 1. And they'll have 1 remaining with, of course, the 2-minute to stop it as well.
I think you have to take a lot into consideration when you make these decisions. As I was saying, I got so emotional, I got so worked up. But last week they were in a situation, they were down by 5 at home against the Buffalo Bills with about 3:33 to go, 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning, and your defense was playing lights out and your offense was struggling. We jump ahead this week in a similar situation, Kevin. You get your defenses playing great. You've got an inexperienced quarterback in T.J. Yates. Punt the football, play defense, use those timeouts, and get the ball back instead of trying to go for it in that situation. I just think it's a situation of a first-time head coach being very aggressive in these situations.
2nd down and 10. Each team with the turnover. And each team with 1 timeout remaining. The extra lineman is in there, and that's where they go. Lamb with the block, the run by Blue, and another good tackle made by Harris. Brings them down, and again, no gain on the play. So they stay at the 37. And there's the Jets' final timeout being used.
Yeah, they got to stop here on 3rd down. They're still going to get the ball back with a chance.
Sure.
I just think you make it difficult on yourself. You talk about the difference in field position. Remember now, we're dealing with Shane Leckler. He might go out there and rip on a 60 or 70-yard punt. Now you're pinned back again with no timeouts.
Jets without 2 of their very important players for a majority of the game. Mangold, the starting center, multiple Pro Bowler, and Rivas, one of the best that's ever played the position. He is out with concussion protocol in the locker room. So they've been without those two players for a chunk of the game. Mangold out longer than Rivas.
Well, first down here by the Houston Texans just about ends it. 2-minute warning will stop the clock, but then they have a chance to kneel on it 3 times.
They bring in Bowen on the line. They're going to take out Harrison. Defensively for the Jets.
Well, if I'm TJ Yates, you just got to be smart. Don't want to sack. It's not there. Throw it away.
Looks into the nickel.
See the throw.
3rd and 10. He's being chased by Williams. Heaves it away. 4th and 10.
Really nice job by the Jets defense, Kevin. They have really played outstanding football here in the 4th quarter.
Just think,
they've
Rich,
done their part.
Thinking if he had taken a sack, the Jets couldn't stop it. You could roll off all that time on the clock, or at least, get it down to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I don't like the call. I don't mind.
Or close to it.
I don't mind rolling the quarterback out one way, but he still has the ability to slide. You hate to take a big loss in that situation and still keep the clock.
Texans with the 4th consecutive 3 plays and punt. Curley, boy, this is a heck of a punt. It takes the wrong bounce, so it'll be a touchback to the 20-yard line. Jets are out of timeout. That was a 63-yard shot put up by Leckler.
Well, chance for Ryan Fitzpatrick and this offense to redeem themselves. 2:19, no timeouts, plenty of time. They got to be smart, though. A couple things have to happen in this situation. Using the boundary, you got to get out of bounds when you can, clocking it. There's got to be a sense of urgency with this offensive line, and you always want to start a 2-minute drive with a completion. Screen would be a bad call in this situation.
Colts, by the way, have won. That was the team coming into today. The Texans were tied with atop the South. No timeouts. 1st and 10 from the 20. He's hit, but he gets it away, and Powell is there. With the deceptive move, he breaks a tackle by Pleasant, and he is finally brought down by Hal. It is a gain of 14, a catch and run, a 1st down to the 34 of the Jets.
They'll try and get one off. Got to hustle. Nope, not going to happen.
2-minute warning, 1st and 10. Jets down by 7 when we come back to Houston on CBS. 2-minute warning, Jets are out of timeouts. They do have the ball with the 1st and 10 at their 34. They played the second half without Rivas with a concussion protocol and a head injury. Fitzpatrick has scored a touchdown on the ground. He's thrown one to Marshall. They were down 24-10. Decker moves right there. False start.
False start. Offense number 87, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Also, Nick Mangold, a multiple Pro Bowler at the center position, out with a hand injury. He's missed most of the game, actually. Now it is 1st and 15 for Ryan Fitzpatrick against his former team. He started 12 games a season ago for the Houston Texans. With Powell in the backfield. Oh, it's picked off! Grabbed by Andre Hal! And there he goes down the side, pushed out of bounds by Giacomini. It's the 2nd interception thrown by Fitzpatrick. He takes it to the 14. The Jets are out of timeouts. Houston's got the ball and the lead.
Well, this is a great play by the young safety, Andre Howe. Just keep an eye on him. He's going to sneak into here. He sees it coming the whole way. They want to throw this slant route. It's a route that they've been throwing a lot to Brandon Marshall. He reads it the entire way. Jonathan Joseph is playing off, knowing that he has help from the safety inside. Quarterback never looks out in front of the throw.
Andre Hal is a 2nd-year player out of Vanderbilt. And he just has his 3rd interception, which looks to seal it for the Texans, who came into today tied for 1st place in the South with the Colts, who have already won.
With back-to-back interceptions off of Ryan Fitzpatrick to finish this thing out, Kevin. We've been talking all day about how well this Houston defense has played. And it's a big reason why they're going to win 4 of the last 5 games. They are dominating. No one can block 99. No one can block J.J. Watt, and they're playing so much better and with more confidence in the secondary.
Fitzpatrick had the thumb surgery, for those of you just joining us, 9 days ago on that non-throwing hand. Gutty performance, to be sure. They go to a knee, victory formation. They lose a yard on the play, so now it is 2nd down and 11.
Well, we got 2 teams heading in opposite directions. The Jets have now lost 4 of their last 5. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans have won 4 of their last 5. And you look at that record in the AFC South. And remember now, the Colts playing without Andrew Luck.
Lacerated kidney.
He'll be out for at least a month.
But the Colts did win, as we mentioned, so now it is 2nd and 11 with backup quarterback T.J. Yates, who today threw a couple touchdown passes. The wide receiver, Cecil Shorts, threw a touchdown pass. The Texans defense has allowed only 2 touchdowns in the last 14 quarters. Watt today with a couple sacks. He's got 11 on the season.
You know, it's hard to win in this business. It's hard to make first downs in this business. It's hard to win when you grab a quarterback off the street a month ago. I got a lot of credit to Bill O'Brien and George Godsey. They've done a great job, Kevin, simplifying the game plan, putting a package of plays together for this young guy so you can go out and execute. This is a big win for the Texans at home.
They go to 500. They're going to win their 3rd straight and their 4th out of 5. And Rich, what about the Jets now? They have lost 4 of their last 5 after starting the season 4-1.
They've got to get healthy, and they've got to get healthy in a hurry. They've got a quarterback that's got a thumb injury. They're without Darrelle Revis, who looked like he banged his knee up. Nick Mangold's got an issue with his right hand, his snapping hand, and they're not playing with a lot of confidence right now on offense.
The Texans began the season 0-2. They win their 3rd consecutive game. They are tied for first place in the South at 5-5 with the Colts. They win it today, 24-17 over the visiting Jets. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show. Texans win despite being held without a first down for the final 18 minutes of the game. By the way, the Texans and Colts will play at Indy Week 15. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, so long from Houston, Texas. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50.